Fans, a very pleasant good evening and welcome back to RVA Sports Network's live coverage of high school sports. Already first gremlin of the evening, and that is, it happens sometimes, folks. The batteries are out on the good old CD player, which helps us with our music, our theme music, our commercials, et cetera, et cetera. So that's okay. We will have to dispense with that this evening, but that's okay. As we bring you live coverage here at Mills Godwin High School. Second time we have set things up and broadcasted here this season, and for good reason. Had a fantastic 5-set thriller back in September here on the game of the week on the Tuesday night. I believe it was after Labor Day when Douglas Freeman came in, and it was a 5-setter. And what a great night that was volleyball action-wise, and the Rebels coming out with the win. As we bring you this action tonight, Mills Godwin just dropping out of our new Super 6 Boys Volleyball Poll that was released last night on the RVA Sports Net on Twitter. And they're bringing in the #1 team in the area. They've been #1 now for 2 weeks. The Atlee Raiders, their only losses coming at the Virginia Volleyball Showcase Labor Day weekend. In 5-set matches so far, they are undefeated this season as they get set for the Conference 12 tournament and beyond. And a big test tomorrow night when they have to go to Ashland to take on Patrick Henry. We'll talk on more about that as the evening progresses. We have, about 15 minutes or so before we're going to get first serve tonight. And I'm very happy to welcome back. He actually did such a great job putting up with me the first time we got together that Douglas Freeman boys volleyball coach David Calvert decided he wanted to come back for more. And so here he is tonight. He is our special guest color commentator for what should be a very good matchup tonight between two teams with a bunch of players he already knows very well, with, of course, your work as well with the Richmond Volleyball Club. Coach, great to have you with us. Thanks for being here again.
Well, thank you, as always, for having me. Again, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment coming back and doing this. But
for being with me,
I will say it's a much better viewpoint for those of you listening out there in Radio Land, a much better viewpoint to be back here in the corner simply watching and commentating on volleyball rather than being one of the coaches on the sideline. This gym, as you know, always a tough place to come into and play. But we are set for a great one tonight between the Atlee Raiders and the Godwin Eagles.
It's been a very interesting season for both teams. The Raiders came in early. We had them on our very first volleyball broadcast of the season back on August 23rd when they swept Deep Run in the rematch of that 5A South Regional quarterfinal from a year ago. Of course, Atlee lost a lot to graduation. Deep Run lost a lot, arguably more to graduation, and it kind of showed early on. But Deep Run's getting their sea legs now. They had a good win this past week. For the Raiders, they seem to not I'm not sure how to describe it, but not be peaking at the Virginia Volleyball Showcase. They seem to be just kind of a step below where they could be. But since they got out of VBS and got back into regular season action, they have been slowly building. And their crescendo, they're hoping, is coming in the next several weeks. They're hoping they haven't peaked too early. But you had a chance to see them early on. You played them. Just kind of give me your thoughts on what we can expect from the Raiders tonight.
Well, we played them twice. We played them all the way back in August, our second match of the year. And actually might have been their second match right after that Deep Run match that you talked about. And they swept us. Obviously, a really strong team led by their big three returners. Michael Norris, who comes up from JV, but was nonetheless a JV starting setter and has done a great job filling in for the departure of graduating senior Owen Ward.
Right.
They're also led offensively by the big guy in the middle, Jake French, number 6, and outside hitter Alex Field. Both of whom I've had the pleasure of working with over at RVC. And it's just a tremendous trio. We talk so much about high school volleyball and what makes programs great. Atlee has consistently been one of those programs that's been able to put together not only a big three, but an entire supporting cast. You've got a host of Raiders who have been playing together in this system, in this program for several years now, and it doesn't seem to make one bit of difference in first-year head coach Jones here that, they're right back where they were last year. One loss coming to Clover Hill in Showcase, otherwise undefeated. And as you said, really peaking at the right time. Tonight will be another test, obviously.
And you made another good point. I'm glad you did about the change in coaching staff with Randy Jones assuming the head coaching position this season. Anytime that happens, there can always be, it's just a new feel, a new vibe when you have a change at the top. But these guys have handled that and responded to it. extremely well.
Absolutely, and their record certainly shows it. They've had plenty of good tests from Conference 11 opponents, Conference 12 opponents, old Capital District foes, and the last time we broadcasted together, it's been 4 Mondays ago. I can't believe how time has flown this season. But the last time we broadcasted together down from Midlothian, we talked about the parity, and Atlee is one of those teams that is really starting to emerge and separate themselves from the bunch, especially when you look at Conference 12. They are the definitive #1 team heading into the postseason. They obviously have another match with Patrick Henry tomorrow night, and Patrick Henry is not a team to be overlooked at all.
No.
Those two teams, as you know from last year with the realignment, those two teams play in Conference 12, which includes everybody else from Southside and then these two Hanover schools. No matter what happens tomorrow night, they should look to go 1-2 in Conference 12 in the regular season and set up a great tournament. But this, yet another in a long line of tests for the Raiders that I look forward to watching with you here.
And the good news is this is the last year we have to deal up in Hanover County with Atlee and Patrick Henry having to not have Conference 16 and not have to go to Conference 12 and play Southside in the opening rounds of the postseason, as we'll be back to kind of the new version of the old Central region, where there will be 15 5A schools all together in what will be called the new Class 5, no more A, Class 5 Central region that will take effect with the 2017-18 school year. So that'll make things a little bit easier. We'll still have teams in Class 6 down in Chesterfield, Class 4 from around the area. So it won't be the old days in the Central region where everybody was together.
Right.
Those days are long gone, but it'll be a little bit easier than kind of some of the amalgamations that we've had here the last 4 years.
And that, too, will make matches like tonight, the anomaly of a match like tonight, a thing of the past where these two teams will play each other more and more. Obviously being Conference 11, Conference 12, Colonial District, Capital District. These two programs really historically have not met a whole lot, which makes a match like tonight so special to watch.
Right, and you can expect the possibility of these two meeting each other in the new regional format, both of them being in 5A, come 2017 and beyond, to be a real possibility. Speaking of which, let's flip to the other side and talk about the Mills Godwin Eagles. You've met them twice this year. You know how tough it was here that night several weeks ago when you got the 5-set win. And you've been here many, many times, and how historically difficult this gym is to play in, no matter how Mills Godwin matches up with you on the court.
Absolutely. And, we're starting to see already with about 6.5 minutes to go on the warm-up clock, we're seeing the student section fill in. One of the reasons this place is so difficult for opposing coaches, for opposing players, even for opposing fans, Godwin knows how to bring a student section out to a game.
And to a volleyball game.
And to a volleyball game,
yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm a little, I have to be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed I don't see a pep band here tonight, but I'm still holding out hope. They got 6 minutes to materialize here. But no, the stands are already filling up with students. It's a smaller gym than some of the newer schools. It's a more intimate space for the home crowd. But certainly makes for a great atmosphere. And let's not give all the credit to the building either. We have Coach Whitney DeFriscia leading the Eagles, and their big three on the court in setter Connor Hicks, right side hitter Ryan Keogh, and their libero Corey O'Shea. And just like Atlee, not the only three that are capable of making a mark. They're well stocked in the middle to oppose Jake French and Alex Ray for the Raiders. Certainly a great serve-receive unit and defensive unit as well. So it should be a very competitive match tonight.
Really looking forward to it. We remember the name Ryan Keogh. We talked about him due to his absence the last time we had Mills Godwin here live on RVA Sports Network in that match against Freeman, because he missed that match due to injury. He's back at 100%. That's great news for the Eagles as they get ready for what should be just a crazy Conference 11 tournament, both on the boys' side and the girls' side. Top 6 out of the 8 make the tourney. The first rounds are played a week from Saturday, the 29th at Lee Davis. You guys get going early in Conference 11 as opposed to everybody else. But I'm telling you, the semifinal round in both Conference 11 boys and Conference 11 girls, we're going to see two very good teams move on, and we're going to see two good teams see their seasons cut short.
Absolutely. The last time we talked about the playoff picture, I liken this to the old days of the Big East before the conference dissolved in college basketball.
Right.
It may be harder for a team to string together 2 wins on back-to-back days, or even 3 if you start from the quarterfinals in Conference 11. It may be harder to string those 3 wins together than it will be to make the deep postseason run when you have 4 or 5 days off between each round.
Right.
And so we are setting up for a great one. You've obviously got Godwin, Deep Run, Lee Davis, Glen Allen, and hopefully Freeman, our team with Freeman in the mix. So 5 teams really competing for just those 2 spots to move on.
Yeah, and any of those 5 teams could get on a run in any given match and grab one of those 2 spots, which is going to make that semifinal. Semifinals, are they Monday night or Tuesday night?
I'd have to double check with you on that. I believe the boys play on Tuesday night.
Okay. So
the girls semifinals maybe Monday night, but then we're back to back for the championship.
For the championship. So whatever night it ends up being, I mean, it's going to be a very pressure-packed atmosphere.
Yes.
Both of those semifinal nights in Conference 11. And admittedly, Conference 11 as a whole, stronger than Conference 12. So that when you get to the 5A South, if you get the right matchup, you could be in pretty good shape come quarterfinal time. But let's say you're the number 1 seed and you lose in the championship and you end up having to face the Conference 12 champion in the first round of the regional. That's a totally different story.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because let's not anger any Atlee fans already tuning in early.
No, absolutely not.
While Conference 11, I would agree with you, has the depth from top to bottom, you certainly have a pair of teams in Atlee and Patrick Henry who are more than capable of going toe-to-toe with any of them. You have Atlee, who's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, beaten every Conference 11 team they faced this season, us twice, Glen Allen, and, of course, they won the first meeting with Patrick Henry, their other Conference 12 nemesis. So, I mean, Atlee, clearly the Central Region's team to beat in 5A as of this moment, but as we've seen, anything can happen. Anyone can beat anyone. There's never been a season that's had more parity, more 5-set thrillers, more sets taken off of teams. So we're in for a treat tonight between 2 great programs, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, well, Coach, we could go back just a year ago to that 5A South Regional quarterfinal down in Meadowbrook between Deep Run and Atlee.
Absolutely.
Where all of us had it, Deep Run's in. All right, it's just a matter of getting the last few points done. And the Raiders came literally back from the dead.
I still remember the score. I was actually down there watching it. Not, we had been eliminated by Deep Run the week before, but I was down there watching it, and a lot of travel players that have played for me just as a fan.
Sure.
I still remember the score. Deep Run was up 2-0 and 20-12 in Game 3. Folks, if you've never watched a volleyball match, a 2-0 lead in a best 3 out of 5, up 20-12 in set 3. That is a huge, commanding lead. And give the Raiders credit last year. They really fought back and made that a match and came back to win it in 5. I believe, extra points or 15-13. It was a close set 5. And of course, they went on to make a run all the way to those state semifinals where they ended up losing to eventual champion Princess Anne.
Yeah, just crazy. Yeah, you never see someone down 0-2, 12-20 come back and win in 5.
No.
But it happened.
It happened.
Which is, again, one of, I think, the greatest things about volleyball. It, among most sports, is affected so much by momentum. All it takes, and I'm sure as a coach, you've told your players this a million times, all it takes is one play. All it takes is one mistake on their part. Just let me see the door cracked, and then we'll start working on busting it open.
Well, and the last time we were in this gym, you saw just that, down 0-2 to this talented Godwin Eagles team and had to fight and scratch and claw all the way back to the 5th set. We trailed in every set. But it is true. You people may be more familiar with basketball. I make a lot of basketball references in a volleyball match. But, in basketball, you have your 4 quarters. And at the end of the quarter, you might have built a 6-point lead. And we know that basketball coaches talk about starting the second quarter 0-0. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But if you look up at that scoreboard, you still have a 6-point lead. Well, volleyball, not so. You obviously restart every set at 0-0, and that opens up the door. We saw it just moments ago before we came on the air in our JV match. Atlee's JV team easily handling Godwin in set 1, but not so fast in set 2. Godwin came storming back, forced that 3rd set tiebreak. And Atlee was fortunate enough to escape 15-10 in a much closer contested set 3 than set 1.
Because, again, momentum. One opportunity. That's all I need. And then we take it from there.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of fun, folks. It's the first of 2 volleyball matches live on the RVA Sports Network this week. Tomorrow night, our last Tuesday night regular season high school volleyball game of the week. And we'll be over at Hanover High School, a chance to see 2 teams, already one mentioned by Coach Calvert, Lee Davis, trying to get positioning in Conference 11. And then there's Hanover in 4A Conference 20. They've got to deal with Monacan. They've got to deal with Midlothian. They've got to deal with defending champion Colonial Heights in 4A. So they need a win at home tomorrow night to kind of propel them into the postseason a week and a half from now. That coverage here on our YouTube channel, Lee Davis at Hanover tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, right here on the RVA Sports Network. And then next Tuesday night, the 25th, the reason why we don't have a final volleyball game of the week is because we will be at field hockey tournament semifinal Tuesday. There are going to be teams clinching regional berths in field hockey next week, so we have to be there for that. Right. So, which is why we wanted to try to slide an extra match tonight, and we couldn't have picked a better one.
One of the reasons I love fall sports, everybody's playoffs start a different time. You have field hockey playoffs, then volleyball playoffs. Eventually we'll get to football playoffs and tons of football news to talk about later in the broadcast as well.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just an amazing time of year to be a sports fan here in Central Virginia.
No doubt. And I will tell you now, Coach Calvert, from today until November 15th, they're probably the busiest 4 weeks of my life every year. No doubt about it. We get set for the national anthem here at Mills Godwin as we're getting ready for the game of the week. National anthem complete. They will be introducing both teams now very quickly, and we will get set and ready for tonight's action. Had so much fun having Coach Calvert with us at the Colonial Heights Midlothian, first of two matches that they've had here in the regular season. Of course, that was the 4A state championship rematch from 2015. And we're in. He's like, hey, what are you doing next week? And I'm like, I'll let you know. And at that point, we were trying to solidify this particular matchup. And once we got it, I was like, okay, Monday night, what you up to? So we're going to lean on you tonight, Coach. You did such a great job first time around. We're going to kind of give you the floor to an extent here to just give us your observations, not only the fact of the sport itself, but, again, so many of these players from your work at Richmond Volleyball Club. We're really, really happy to have you and have your perspective here tonight. It's going to be great.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Number 47, Buddy Northington.
As we get set to go, it should be noted, too, that Atlee won the toss. They warmed up first. They'll be serving first tonight. As we work our way through the starting lineups, Godwin does have a tradition of nominating a JV player every night to do the lineups. I think it's a nice little touch, gives them a little appreciation for a little bit of the work we do.
That's fantastic. I think that's a great idea. All right. The Raiders have been announced again. First-year head coach Randy Jones got these guys playing at an extremely high level. And I guess right now for Atlee fans, some of them are kind of cringing and thinking to myself, just don't peak too early. It's still just the middle of October. There's still another 4+ weeks to go if you want to end up at the Siegel Center in the middle of November. And for Mills Godwin, they've gone over the issues with missing some people from time to time. They've had some good wins. They've had some tough losses. You learn from all that. And once you get to Conference 11 tournament time, you hit that reset button, and everybody's even, and off you go.
Yeah, just like starting a set 0-0, you start a season over 0-0. Everybody's undefeated in the postseason on day one.
That's exactly right. So
both of these teams in no danger of missing the postseason. We should also point out, as Conference 11 doesn't have the all-in format, only the top 6 advance. Godwin safely advanced. Tonight's match will do certainly could do them a lot of good for seeding.
Yes,
to take away a win here tonight.
Basically, and talking with JV coach Andy Crane over at Atlee, tonight's match is not going to matter in terms of Conference 12 really for them tomorrow night when they go to Patrick Henry.
Absolutely, yes.
That's it. If they win, they sweep PH in the regular season. They'll be the number 1 seed in Conference 12. Patrick Henry wins tomorrow night. It's a totally different story.
And, of course, Godwin knows all about that from last year splitting with Deep Run. It went all the way down to a coin flip as those two teams tied at 20-3.
Oh.
Every single tiebreak, common opponents, they all beat the same, lost to the same. Head-to-head, they obviously split. The non-conference loss, they shared that loss to Princess Anne. in showcase, both of them. So obviously, two programs well-versed in tie-breaking procedures for the postseason, hoping not to have to worry about that this year.
Not that you want to be versed in tie-breaking procedures. No. I didn't think so. All right, my friends, Raiders will serve it up first. They are on the far side of the court for us, which is, of course, we're in the back end of the gym as you walk into Mills Godwin High School. In case you haven't been here before, for those of you who have not, you come through the Commons and you walk right in, and we are in the back right corner in our little traditional broadcast position. And thanks to Coach and Tom and everybody here at Mills Godwin, they always make us feel very welcome when we come out and broadcast live here on Pump Road.
Raiders set to start it off in rotation 1. Michael Norris, their setter, will serve it up. Godwin starts back in row 6, commonly referred to as 1 back, with their setter, Connor Hicks, in right front. And here we go.
And here it is, my friends. Norris to serve it up, the jump serve, and we're underway. Keogh is there, set to the net, near side, blocked. Does it stay in? Yes, it does. Beautiful block defense gets Atlee the first point of the night.
It's blocked by Jake French, the Atlee Raider middle, who actually switch blocked over to the right side against, who is that, 15, James Carroll.
Norris again with the jump serve. It's dug toward the bleachers. Can Hicks save it? Yes, he can. They'll get it over. And the Raiders set up first time. In the middle for French. Little tip over the net. Sometimes you don't need the strength. It's just a matter of putting the ball in the right place.
No, his favorite place, all of his RVC 17-1 teammates from last season will remember that play. He goes up strong in the middle, tips it just to his right into zone 4, drops easy in front of O'Shea for the kill.
2-0 as Hicks will send it over on shot 2, but the Raiders are not fooled. Godwin will reset. Middle, block. Point Atlee.
Once again, French on the block. He's helped out there by the outside, number 8, Matt Wiggins. And a commanding 3-0 lead to start for the Raiders, who have really been fully in system to start the match. Godwin's still looking for a little bit of in-system offense.
Strong start with Norris and his jump serve. Handled to the net. Battle for it there. Back to the Atlee side. They'll set it near side. Touch kill. Saved. Carroll with the kill attempt, and it's good. And the Eagles are on the board after a nice set cross-court from Hicks.
Best looking swing of the night for the Eagles. Carroll puts it right between the block of French and their right side. Buddy Northington, I believe. Blake O'Donnell.
Libero Ellenberger handles it. They get it to French in the middle. He's able to get it over. Godwin almost responded, but then they hit it into the bleachers, and it'll be a side out to the Raiders. Ellenberger, a call up from JV into the action here for Atlee. Wiggins with the serve. Hicks will set it up. Here near side, Keogh saved. Reset by Atlee. Shot blocked out of bounds. Kill is good for Alex Field. 5-1 Raiders.
And they will really look to get Field going. He's such a nice compliment to Jake French in the middle. Just as powerful. Slightly different angle on his shots, but nonetheless a very effective weapon, as now Atlee has both French and Field in the front row.
To Hicks off the serve. Keogh saved in the back middle from Wiggins.
Great dig by O'Shea for the Eagles, and he'll send it back over as Hicks hustles to get it back. Atlee's possession now.
Holy cow. And second time around, Field's able to slam it home, but you're absolutely right. What a dig on that first kill attempt by Field. But the point to Atlee, it's 6-1. Raiders, again, unbeaten outside of the Virginia Volleyball Showcase this season. Godwin barely gets it over. Can't get a kill set. Raiders will. It's blocked, but out of bounds. And O'Donnell will get the point for the Raiders, up 7-1. And the Eagles looking for a combination to get things going here so far.
All Raiders early. I've noted only one pass in front of the 10-foot line for the Eagles, and that was the kill to Carroll for the Eagles, as now Atlee serves it in the net. The Eagles will get it back 2-7 with the aforementioned Carroll at the service line.
There you go. And there's Carroll's serve to Ellenberger in the middle. They'll set it up, fake it to French, send it over to Field, and he slams it home without a problem. 8-2 side out Atlee.
A nice looking 1-2 combo play. Jake ran the one ball in the middle, faked out the Eagle middle blocker, and there was Alex Field wide open for a 32.
And French hits it into the net, and back-to-back service errors here for the Raiders. And, the Eagles right now down 8-3, and again trying to find their mojo. Will take any help that they can find at this point. As the Eagles serve it up, French is there. A little too hard to the middle. Godwin can't slam it home. Field's going to try. He's blocked. Hicks will set. Keogh far side. French handles it on the dig. Nice set behind. And the Raiders will grab a point there on the kill from O'Donnell. 9-3.
Raiders back to the service line, and perhaps the only weakness for Atlee that you talked about as I listened to the YouTube broadcast from that deep run game. You know, Atlee has been struggling from the service line at times this season, missing several serves, eight serves in a single set twice this season. And so they'll look to clean that up heading to the postseason. No
doubt about it. Kill attempt again by Field, second time in that point, and that one rattles off of two Eagles and hits the floor. Good for the Raiders at 10-3. Strong start here for Alex Field.
No weaknesses on the Raider offense. I can safely say that.
Absolutely not. Hicks will set after the serve far side. Keogh will be blocked, but out of bounds. And so Ryan will get a kill. And the side out to Mills Godwin here at home, down 10-4, set one, and Keogh will do the service honors.
Also a defensive sub for the Raiders as number 2 Ryan Henderson checks in. Of course, he's immediately replaced by Ellenberger.
Keogh, soft serve. Ellenberger is there. We'll set it up. Not set the way they wanted it to that time. Hicks will, though. Kill attempt is long. And Levinson a bit too strong on that one for Godwin here near side.
A little miscommunication on the Raider attempt there. It looked like the set was either a little too far off the net or maybe a little too far in front of the 10-foot line as Wiggins took it over from back row. But, of course, it was so far forward he couldn't jump above the height of the net in front of that 10-foot line.
Miscommunication here as Godwin's going to lose the point. One player thought another player was coming to do the set, and Carroll realized there's nobody but me, and he couldn't get to it in time to create a situation where they could keep the point alive, and it's 12-4. Field will serve it again. Carroll digs it out, hits the ceiling. Hicks handles that. Levinson's kill attempt is long, and another point for Atlee, and it's 13-4, and the Eagles are going to rightfully call a timeout. So timeout on the floor, 13-4. Atlee with a very nice start here tonight in set number 1.
And just the big difference in the match so far early is just that first pass, whether it's on serve, receive, in defense, or even a free ball, as both teams have had a couple free ball opportunities. The Eagles just not quite getting that first pass in a position for their setter Hicks to do something with it to get their offense really going. They'll get it together here, but obviously not the start you want at 13-4, as Coach DeFrisha talks it over with her guys.
That's exactly right. Some field hockey finals are coming in, and we'll keep you posted on those as the evening progresses. Coach Calvert mentioned something about football. We'll talk about where you can get the latest standings on that coming up in just a few minutes. Off the serve, Carroll with a nice dig. They'll set it for Ryan Keogh. Shot, good.
And
the kill,
find
wow.
the deep corner on a great swing by the Godwin right side.
Fantastic job finding that swing. 13-5 and a much-needed point inside out.
So far gone into the corner that Coach Andy Crane had to go get it. They switched balls here. Maybe that's what the Eagles needed, a new ball.
There you go. Set here to the net, and it's blocked as the set was kind of miscalculated, and Mills Godwin was just able to block it right back in the Atlee side of the court, and they couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I think his first real mistake on the offensive end of the night for the Atlee setter Michael Norris just kind of didn't get squared up, set it right into the plane, right into that block by Carroll.
This time he sets it up for Field. He gets blocked in the middle. Hicks will set. Carroll here near side, and it doesn't go over the net, so they'll call the fourth hit and the side out to Atlee at 14-6 here in set number 1.
But already out of the timeout, it's just a few points. Certainly much crisper passing for the Eagles, much better gameplay.
Ellenberger will serve it up to the net. Hicks to set. There in the middle. Kill attempt. Long.
A perfect pass by the Godwin libero. Sets up a 1-ball, a quick tempo set to the middle. Just out of bounds off that same corner that Keogh just hit.
So 15-6 as Ellenberger serves again. The Raiders up 9. Hicks has to fight to get that one set, and Carroll just barely gets it over. Raiders try to sneak it in shot 2. They can't. Eagles no kill attempt there. Set for French, and he again will do that little touch kill and find the hole. 16-6, it's a double-digit lead.
And, of course, you know, when you are that good early on the offensive end of the ball as the Raiders are, the Eagles all backing up, expecting that big kill shot, and the tip is wide open there in front of them.
Ellenberger's next serve is short. That's the third service error of set 1 for Atlee. So 3 of Mills Godwin's 7 points coming by the benefit of that. 16-7 our score. And O'Shea to serve. In the middle, Field will send it over. O'Shea is there. Hicks sets behind him. Keogh, kill, too strong. Out of bounds, and a side out to Atlee, up 17-7. Does there come a point at times in set 1 where just mentally you think to yourself, okay, we just need to get ready for set 2?
You know, I don't think any coach will ever admit it. I hope a player doesn't admit it either. But I certainly, we talked about that momentum. You know, the score does reset. So at a certain point, I'm sure it's crossed their minds that, you know, we just need to feel them out a bit, get ourselves settled up. Scores new, 0-0. And how many times this season have we seen a team take set 1 and then lose the next 3, or even take the first 2 and lose the next 3? So there is something to be said for regrouping. And I know from a coaching strategy saying that didn't happen, you know, letting it go. As the double's called, interesting play there. Sorry, as Atlee passed it a little tight, and the setter, Michael Norris, put it into the net. It came back and hit him in the center of the back.
So Hicks will serve it up again. It's 17-9 now. They'll touch it over, and Hicks diving to get the dig, the one-handed dig. Atlee resets. Shot is good because I believe it hit one of the defenders up front, which meant that Levinson back here said, I got to try to save it.
Yeah, Levinson had to go for that, and not much he could do other than get a fingertip on it. But that rally, notably, the first time that the Raiders have been out of system. So a couple of hustle plays required on their part to keep the ball alive.
A little bit of hiccup on the Raiders side for the first time. You're right. Hicks over to Keogh. His kill attempt handled nicely by Field. They'll set it for Field, and it's good as it goes to the left of Levinson, and it's now an 11-point lead and another timeout, the second of the set for Mills Godwin. Check that 10-point lead at 19-9 here in set number 1.
And a 6-5 run, so not quite as wide open as that last time out at 13-4. We're certainly playing point for point now, and again, like you said, that momentum, obviously the early momentum, all in Atlee's favor. But if the Eagles can keep playing at this level, I think set 2 fans can expect a much closer set, much better contested.
19-9 here in set number 1 on the special Monday night edition of the RVA Sports Network High School Volleyball Game of the Week. Excuse me, back on our Tuesday night for one more time in the regular season. Tomorrow night, Lee Davis at Hanover boys action. And we'll hit the air live from Route 301 at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
And Hanover, one of those teams that we talked about that actually took set 1 from the Raiders back on October 11th. Took that first set 25-23. Then, of course, Atlee got some momentum back and won the next 3 to take the match. So, yeah,
Hanover's, again, a team that once you get into Conference 20, you don't know. They could be one that can get on a roll and do some serious damage. Keogh with a kill attempt. Are they going to call it? No. I thought for a second maybe it glanced off an Atlee finger, but ref up top says no, and it's 20-9, and Atlee will serve it up again.
May have been the top of the tape as the net's still moving ever so slightly, but I'm with you. I thought in real time it looked off a finger. That one, no doubt, as Carroll hits it into the block. A back row attack is whistled and by Hank Hartz, our up referee, and now immediately replayed.
Yeah, now we're going to replay the point. Interesting.
You know what I think happened? The libero set that with his fingertips. Godwin, of course, if you've never been here, has the double yellow line for the 10-foot line and then their practice court, the sideline. And the libero was stepping on that yellow line. Would have been a violation if it were actually the 10-foot line.
Kill attempt, one-handed dig by Hicks, but then it comes off the gym top awkwardly, but Godwin's able to get it over. They'll set it for Field. O'Shea is there. Hicks cross court, Keogh, soft kill attempt. It goes almost to the end of the gym. Ellenberger is there, and Norris will send it over. Check that, Wiggins will send it. Hicks sets it behind him. Carroll. Atlee keeps it going. They'll set it for Field. Saved by Keogh. From the back, Levinson. Wiggins. Kill attempt French. Dug by O'Shea. Goes to the net. Can Carroll get it over? Yeah, tough angle, but he did it. Set it up for Field, far court. Blocked. Ellenberger keeps it alive.
Longest rally of the night as O'Shea digs another one up. Connor.
Just fantastic.
Hicks saves another out of the net, and another spectacular save by Carroll over there. And Jake French ends it. There you go. His first big swing of the night for a kill.
Yeah, he had no interest in tippy-toeing that one across the net. He
No,
said, completely with power, thank you, to finish this point.
Must have been about 20 volleys there, and absolutely, he finished that right there.
That was a fun play to watch. Atlee with the lead. Serve it just hits the top of the net. O'Shea handles it. Carroll, kill attempt is good.
That one will hit the floor right in front of the Atlee setter.
And a much-needed side out, and points are running out here in set one as Godwin down 11 at 21-10. Carroll serves it. Just over the net. It is saved, and the kill attempt to French. Dug nicely by Hicks. O'Shea will set this time. Keogh sends it over. Ellenberger is there, and we've got a net violation on Atlee.
Yeah, center line violation whistled, I believe, on number 6, Jake French, on the block attempt, possibly when he landed from the block turning to transition. I think our second official, Darren Hudson, here whistled him for under the net.
It's 21-11. Deficit at 10. They'll set French up again, and his height and the trajectory, I mean, he's just literally throwing the ball down to the court. What can you do?
Not much. I got to tell you, not much. He is one of the tallest players in the region, in the middle. And he's got a good 4 to 5 inches over the Godwin middle Alex Dogbeck.
Keogh dug out by Atlee. No kill attempt there. They'll send it back over. Hicks the set. Levinson this time. Not enough on it, and it comes on his side of the net at 23-11. Gotta wonder how much Jake paid attention to his older sister, Maddie, who is now up at George Mason University. And, of course, was part of that 2013 state championship team for Atlee girls volleyball. Raiders trying to set up for point 24. Godwin handles it. Hicks to Carroll, and it's blocked. Point Atlee. Beautiful block by Blake O'Donnell.
Yeah, he set up in the middle, reached a little bit to his right on it, and normally you'll hear a coach say, don't reach, don't reach, but he managed to get just enough on that. And the Eagles aren't able to control it. It's 24-11 and set point.
French to Levinson, right to Hicks, middle of the net, back over to Levinson. Kill attempt is good. That one got over the net.
Swing.
Yeah.
His best of the night, and that'll go off of the right hand of their other middle, Alex Ray. Andrew Ray. I'm sorry, Andrew. I've called him Alex twice now. My apologies to everyone out there in Raider Nation.
You're gonna owe him a nickel for each time you do.
I'm going to. It's probably good because I only have a quarter in my pocket, so I got 3 more.
You got 3. 24-12. Atlee trying to wrap up set number 1, and they will with a beautiful work in the middle. They get the kill. Field again. 25-12. Number 1 Atlee with a decisive set 1 victory here tonight. Coach, early thoughts?
Well, clearly done on the offensive end of the ball. I don't have the full hitting stats as far as kills, errors, and total attempts, but I'd venture a guess that the Raiders are hitting as a team close to 350, maybe 375. We talk about hitting percentage in volleyball, much like baseball. You shoot for 300. Anything over that's just gravy. The Eagles struggled a little early, a little closer to the 100, 125 range, but got it going late, so we'll see if they can carry some of that momentum into set 2. Speaking of, owing people nickels, that Field on at least 2 of his, by my count, 6 kills in the first set. At least 2 of them, he needs to pay a little attention over there to Jake French and give him a word of thanks, because a beautifully executed tandem play. Jake goes up to one ball, commits all that attention to that presence that he is at the net, and then there's Field with a wide open net, and to his credit, just bangs the ball down through it.
Because how do you not pay attention to Jake French, and how do you have the audacity to think that you could ignore him thinking that play was coming?
Absolutely. I don't know. And, of course, if you do, Norris is a smart enough setter to give him the ball, and he'll take the 1 ball there. But it should be noted, too, we talked a little bit about rotations at the start. Both of these programs opting to start in rotation 1 as a serving team, where the setter is right back, is back row, giving you those 3 front row hitters. Godwin started 1 back as a receiving team, so that when they won the first point, Connor Hicks, their setter, went back to the service line. It'll be interesting to see what rotation they start at here in the second set. But for the Eagles, one thing that they'll need to work on is putting together a run of points in the 1 Atlee rotation where neither French or Field are in the front row. Obviously, they don't play the same position, so one of them can't always be in the front row, as is the case with 2 middles.
Right.
But there is that 1 rotation as an outside and a middle 2 away from him. There's that 1 rotation when I believe Field is serving, where French is still left back, Field is right back, and the front row is a little more manageable for the Eagles to contend with. And that will be the rotation, certainly, that Coach DeFriscia will look to get their stud Ryan Keogh the ball to try and do some damage and counteract the early Raider offense.
Precisely. And now, interestingly, also just as important on the other side, on your side, so to speak, is who's serving at the time that you've got them in that position. You need somebody strong in that position so that you can get a service run going. Obviously, part of it is based on the play of the play, but you don't want somebody who is going to, more often than not, you're standing there going, don't hit it in the net, don't create an error. Right. We saw, again, 3 of the 12 points for Godwin in set 1 were service errors by Atlee. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times this year I've seen teams win sets in spite of a series of service errors. Kind of strange.
It is. And, I'll tell you, the lone loss for the Raiders was in Showcase to a Clover Hill team that has had its moments this season, right. upsetting teams in Showcase and in the regular season as well. They have another hitter equally talented with the likes of Field from the outside, Joey Schneeberger. And it was kind of the Raiders' downfall in that Showcase match that every time they needed to go on a run with him in the back row, they'd have a service error. And I think that's one of the few little chinks in the armor for these Raiders that obviously Coach Jones will look to improve. And 3, while certainly better than some of their performances, is probably still 3 too many, and he'll get on his service to do a little bit better job from the back row.
Yeah, 3 is absolutely 3 too many, even if you win 25-12, which is the case here in set number 1. As set 2 is getting set to underway, Atlee will be on our side of the gym here in the back side. And the Eagles will head over to the front of the gym and try to even this thing up at 1-1. Again, Atlee's got to turn right around, get back on the bus tomorrow, head to Ashland for that showdown against number 5, Patrick Henry. And ostensibly, that is for the number 1 seed in the Conference 12 tournament, which gets underway in 2 weeks.
The Eagles are started, in rotation 1 here. Hicks, you've got front row of Carroll, Dogbo, and Keogh in left front opposite of the setter. Your back row, still Levinson and O'Shea in for their other middle Lions. On the Raiders, they are 1 back in rotation 6 with Norris, Wiggins, and French across the front row. As it is served up, Field passes the first one, and right away, Jake French. I'm going to do a little play-by-play for you.
Yes, you do.
But French with the opening kill for the Raiders in set 2. It'll be 1-0, and they will get their setter back to the back row.
Here we go. The quick side out. Raiders to serve. Norris will do the honors. 1-0 up, 1-0. Nice serve. Good dig, though, right to the net for Hicks, and the kill is good.
And it'll be, I believe, the first kill by a Godwin Eagle of the match, as Dogbo takes that 1 ball and says to Mr. French, anything you can do, I can do better.
But with the dig off a
defense.
Very nice serve just over the top of the net, set right up there for Hicks to do the job. French touch kill attempt handled. Keogh's going to set it across court. Levinson's shot too strong. And it'll be wide out of bounds here in front of Atlee head coach Randy Jones. 2-1 Raiders.
You can tell both coaches, I believe, in between sets talked about getting better passes to really establish the middle, as the first 3 attempts at a serve receive have all gone to the middle. This will be the first one that can't, as it's an ace.
Ace for the Raiders. That one from Wiggins, as it handcuffs O'Shea in the middle, and his dig attempt heads toward the bleachers, and it's 3-1 Atlee in set number 2.
Wiggins with a great float serve. That one catches the net, dribbles down right in front of Levinson, his second ace.
In a row. Nothing you can do about that when it hits the tape and then just kind of dribbles over. 4-1. Atlee trying to assert themselves again here in set 2. Hicks sets it up for Keogh, and his kill is good.
Another strong swing by the right side, and it's either feast or famine for the Eagles. When they've gotten the passes here in set 2, they put the ball away right away.
So they get the serve back. Down by 2, early set 2. Again, Atlee winning set number 1, 25-12. Field. Set. Wiggins. Carroll is there. To Hicks. Levinson is going to be just a bit wide. It hits the tape and just barely on the wrong side of the sideline here in front of the Atlee Raider bench. It was close.
It was, and the libero there did a good job of not going for it, as someone slightly less experienced might have gone and reached out and touched that ball. But a good job letting it go, and French will go back to serve. A really short serve. Campbell by Keogh.
Yeah, and it's blocked by Field, but Godwin keeps the point alive. Keogh again, and that one's good. Almost the block by Ray, but couldn't quite do it. Dribbles onto the Atlee side, 5-3, as Hunderup's going to check in for Mills Godwin.
And I'll tell you, as familiar as I am with French from our travel season together, I don't think I've ever seen that serve out of his repertoire. A very nice short float serve that almost got an ace for him.
Keogh serve. Wiggins is there. Set far side. Kill attempt right back to the net. Atlee will try it again. It's Field again, and this one's good.
A really nice job by the right side O'Donnell there, saving that tight pass. As man, when
that was a tough
I thought it
angle
was going
there.
to be a double on that, but he managed to get it off cleanly and stay out of the net and stay on his side of the center line. All three things.
O'Donnell sends it over, and it is a bit long. O'Shea took the shot, decided to let it go, and it's a service error, and it'll go back to Godwin down 6-4. Levinson will check in to serve. And Hunderup will check out. And Ellenberger is back in for the Raiders. In for Chris Jones. Very soft serve. Wiggins to the middle. Set up. And Ray is blocked. Carroll on the block for Godwin. Point Eagles, and they shave the lead down to 1.
An absolutely beautiful job penetrating the net there with his left hand. He gives up a couple inches to the middle there, but takes it all away with that great block.
Atlee, nice set behind to French, punches it over. O'Shea is there. Hicks sets behind him. Keogh the kill attempt. French with a nice dig. They'll set it for Field, and O'Shea with a dig, but right to the net. Ray, saved by Keogh, punched over. Ellenberger is there. Field again. Good. O'Shea went for it. Back corner, couldn't quite get to it, and it goes out of bounds off of him.
And the one thing I'm noticing about Field's offense early on, he's doing a very good job mixing up his shots. He's hit line, he's hit cross court, he's hit hard short into the court, he's hit long deep into the back corner, really keeping the Eagles defense off balance on where he's going with the ball. Makes it hard to get that dig.
Alex Field to serve it. Dug by Keogh to Hicks. Cross court. Carroll. Ellenberger. Nice save. Across. Levinson will handle it for Godwin this time. Keogh sends it over. Dug out of bounds. Back middle by Field. And a point for the Eagles at 7-6.
No sooner do I talk about one player mixing up his shot than the heavy-handed Keogh takes a little off, snaps his wrist, rolls it in front of Field for the kill.
Trying to get a tie match here, or tie set, I should say. Kill attempt blocked, but saved on the dig. Raiders will reset. Field to Keogh. He is there. Hicks sets for Ryan, and it's going to be off of Ellenberger, and good. Field trying to get to it. Dove, couldn't. We're tied at 7 in set 2.
And it should be mentioned for our fans not here watching it live, obviously listening to us, that both of those last two kills from Keogh coming from the back row, a very hard place to get some consistency on your swing. Very few high school level hitters do as good a job as Keogh of swinging out of the back row, as that'll be a service error for the Eagles to give the Raiders an 8-7 lead right back.
Boy, had a chance to take your first lead of the night, and you serve it into the net. So Ellenberger will do the honors now for Atlee. Up by 1 here in set number 2, up 1-0. 25-12 the win in set 1. And that was kind of an awkward set by Hicks, but Dogbo gets it over into a hole, and that's all that matters.
Well, we gave O'Donnell his credit. This time it's Connor Hicks's turn. He took a very tight pass, saved it with one hand, and Dogbo did a great job of being up in the air as a middle is supposed to be, and just tipped it down for the kill, as Hicks will go back to serve now at 8-8.
They'll set it for Wiggins. Dug out nicely in the middle. O'Shea will set. Hicks sends it over. Field is there. They'll put it back to Field in the middle. O'Shea keeps the point alive. Keogh. Atlee resets. French punches it over. Connor Hicks is there. Keogh again, right in front of Ellenberger.
Soft roll shot down the line. That'll fall, and that will give the Eagles their first set of the match.
That was almost an optical illusion. It looked coming off of his left hand like that was going to come down with much power, and it just kind of floated right over the net.
So we told you, fans, momentum's a big thing in volleyball. All they needed was a second set to get it going, and here we are now, a tie game at 9-9 as the Raiders go right back to Old Faithful and Old Reliable Jake French in the middle.
And if I had Jake French, I'd make him Old Reliable too.
I think I'd give him a healthy dose of the offense as well.
No doubt.
In fact, we might have done that during travel season.
Yes, you may have. Norris on the serve. Levinson is there. Hicks runs to set it. Keogh sends it over. Raiders will get a good set. French again off the fingertips of Dogbo. Godwin stays alive. Carroll. And no kill attempt there. Atlee will just punch it over. Hicks resets. Keogh. Dug by Field. Back to Alex. He'll send it over. O'Shea and Hicks both there. Levinson to Keogh. Ellenberger digs it out. right to the net. Over to French, but it's blocked by Dogbo.
Dogbo will have something to say about that one as he gets fired up by his teammates on that block. One-on-one solo stuff for Alex Dogbo.
That's beautiful work right there. Just individual effort on a lengthy point to be in the right position and the right angle to get that done.
That's right. Not the longest rally of the match, but certainly the longest of the set.
10-9. Eagles serve with the lead, finally. Kill attempt blocked. O'Donnell saves it. Field will push it over. Hicks to O'Shea. Keogh. Ellenberger is there. Norris to set. Kill attempt too strong there by Field. Out of bounds wide to the bleachers. Godwin enjoys their first 2-point lead of the night at 11-9.
And if offense was the story of set one, then it's a defense in set two as the Godwin block and their digging has picked up tremendously.
And make it 12-9.
Yeah, won't get credit for the ace on that one, but just about had it as Norris struggled to save the serve-receive pass at the far pole right by our first referee. That'll give the Eagles a 12-9 lead and force the Raiders to call their first timeout of the night.
And timeout for the Raiders to settle things down and talk things over. 12-9 the score. And the Eagles here at home, again, as we mentioned, don't let set one's domination rattle you. You reset the scoreboard and start in set two and work on it again. And so far, so good. Even when there was 4-1 early and 6-3, and you thought, okay, here we go again. But Godwin wouldn't let it happen.
No, and certainly relying on that front row play with the blocking, but also the back row play, the digging. And it's all of them. Connor Hicks, the setter, obviously you don't want your setter to dig the ball because you'd like him to be able to contact that second one.
Right.
But he's done a great job from right back playing defense. And to his credit, the libero for the Eagles, Corey O'Shea, doing a great job bump setting some very hittable sets to the Eagle offense. Also, really coming to life, the middle attack for the Eagles. That's keeping them in this game with hitters like French and Ray for the Raiders.
You gotta answer at some point if you want to. You're right. Make a dent, be a part of the game. Of course, French
right back to that middle attack.
Yeah, right out of the timeout. Your first play is get it to the big guy, and it worked. 12-10, excuse me, as Atlee will get the serve down 2.
And that play also made possible by a much better serve-receive pass. Probably the only weakness that led to that 12-9 lead for the Eagles as the Raiders struggled momentarily in serve-receive. Now it'll be O'Shea's turn with the perfect pass.
And the block as Field denies Keogh here near side. Make it 12-11. Eagles lead down to 1.
Either one of them on the block, Field or French, is pretty good. But when they're together there, that's just a massive wall to get the ball over.
Kill attempt. Ellenberger is there. The set for Field. And his shot dug out. Carroll to the net. And a violation on Godwin.
Dogway will be called for the lift on a tight dig attempt.
And a 3-0 run out of the timeout means we now are at 12-12 in set 2. Hicks sets it behind him. Keogh kill blocked by French.
Same two blockers. A different one touches it that time, but we got the same result. A straight down, what we call a roof block or a stuff block in volleyball.
I tell you one thing right now. No way you were going to get it behind French. 13-12, a 4-0 run out of the timeout. O'Shea digs in the middle to Hicks. Kill attempt is saved after the block. They'll try it again. Atlee has it. O'Donnell sets it. Field with the left hand.
And center line violation called against Field as he did everything he could to try and put a swing on that tight set, but landed just beyond the center line. As Coach Jones will get some clarification, but I think I saw the same thing that Mr. Hudson saw there from our down official position.
13-all, Eagles serve in the tying, set it up for Field, and the kill off the top of the net. No problem whatsoever. Atlee regains the serve up by 1.
No center line violation on that swing.
No. Not even close as Jake French will serve it up. Here we go in the situation where you got French in the back this time. Hicks over, shot, good. That is Hunderup into the game outside hitter, the junior. And no strength on that one, just touch. Found a hole, made it work, tied at 14. And Keogh to serve. Eagles trying to retake the lead. Set nicely in the middle, and Mr. Ray, if you please, with the kill.
And I'm not sure if our radio listeners could quite hear that, but somebody from the crowd, obviously familiar with volleyball, yelled out the word second just before that attack. You know, the Eagles got a free ball, another perfect pass, and they've been running that tandem, that combination play all night long with French and Field, obviously French in the back row. So let me get it right this time. Andrew Ray, I don't know why I keep calling Andrew Alex, but Andrew Ray goes up for the one ball. You hear second called, and I think Godwin was waiting on that tandem attack as well because they stayed on the ground. Sure enough, Norris gives it to the middle, and Ray powers it through for his kill, and now the 15-14 lead. A timeout to answer this run by Godwin. They were once up 12-9, so it's a little bit of a run, a 6-2 run for the Raiders to retake the lead.
Your first adversity of the night, you're down 3, you call time, you talk it over, you come back, and you retake the lead. You have the 6-2, 6-3 run. Yep. So, yeah, I mean, good work. And that's exactly what a timeout is for. Ostensibly what you're hoping to have happen if you're a coach.
Sure, and if the Raiders did it earlier, maybe the Eagles will put together their own 3-0 run, retake the lead, and maybe try and not just match it 1-1.
That's exactly right. First, they got to get through the service of French. Jake will send it over. O'Shea is there. Hicks at the net. Kill attempt is blocked out of bounds. Point Godwin. Hundrup again on the far side doing the work there for the Eagles, and we're tied at 15.
And a nice swing by the outside is he'll get replaced now by Levinson at the service line and in the back row, but he did a great job of swinging high hands to get that tool out of bounds for the kill. We have a small delay in action right now as the Atlee setter and court captain Michael Norris asks the officials for a lineup check. Some confusion as to where we're supposed to be in serve receive. We'll reset it for the radio listeners here. It's 15-15 in set 2. The Raiders won a set 1 25-12, rather convincing fashion. Obviously getting key contributions on the offensive side from French and Field. The story of set 2 has been defense, blocking and digging. And the Raiders will figure out where they are now, although still some confusion as it looks like O'Donnell stepping back to serve as the Eagles won the last point.
So there won't be any service on this side.
There will not be a service for the Raiders. It will be Godwin serve at 15-15. Now it's just a matter of putting the pieces in the right place. We talked about rotations earlier. It should be noted French is in the back row. Field is right front. The next time that the Raiders side out will be that rotation where Field and French are in the back row, and the Eagles will look to go on a run there.
And you're in a position to where as Jones will check in and then immediately check out to get Ellenberger back in.
It's a lot of substitution there.
Yeah, try to get all that straightened out.
So, so Field is still right front, although the serve-receive stack's a little deceptive as he starts left back and is immediately whistled for out of rotation.
Whoa.
So a lot just happened there. We'll try and reset it for you.
Without the ball actually being in play, save for the serve that barely got across the net when the whistle blew.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it had gotten across the 10-foot line on the Godwin side of the court. But we are certainly having a discussion here.
A lot of action, a lot of discussion, and a lot of happening, but very little action here in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes.
By my eye, the Raiders look to be in rotation. They're set up no differently now than they were just a moment ago. This time, no whistle, as we'll actually put it in play with the Eagles up 16-15 on the de facto ace out of rotation.
Pretty much.
Field will tip it over for a kill. Carroll can't corral it. He passes it out of bounds across the net. It'll be 16-16. Rotation issue solved. But for one last mention of rotation in set 2, as we are now in the rotation with Field back row serving, he'll serve it out of bounds. So there you go for the Eagles. That's what they needed. They needed a quick side out, and now is when they need to go on their run. And a good server at the line. I hope I didn't just jinx him. A good server at the line in libero Corey O'Shea.
And here he goes. Handled by Wiggins to the net. It's set. French right side.
A little confusion by the referees. I don't think either one of them saw it.
I don't think so either. I think we may be replaying this point.
We're looking for an honor call from the Eagles. I'm not sure Coach DeFriscia saw it.
Nope.
She's telling the donor, no, she saw it out, but obviously you can't honor call a point to yourself.
Right.
So we will replay that rally. 17-16 Eagles, O'Shea serving. Don't be surprised whoever wins this point for a lot of fingers pointing to the ceiling. Volleyball gods getting it right.
Here comes the kill attempt from Field, and he'll get it off of O'Shea.
And right on cue, Field, French, Ellenberger, all the Raiders pointing up saying, yeah, we won that last point. 17-17.
Life is even, and let's move on.
So a couple of weird pauses to the game here at 15s, 16s, and now again here at 17s. But we're underway again. Ellenberger serves.
Hicks, middle of the net, sends it over, and a diving save by Ellenberger to keep the point alive.
Beautiful pancake.
Wow. Carroll tips it. Atlee sends it right back over on the dig. Hicks sets behind him. Keogh partially blocked, and they can't save it. Point
that
Godwin.
One will finally find the ground. An absolutely beautiful, we talked about defense so much for the first part of the set. A great diving pancake by Ellenberger where he puts his hand flat on the ground, lets the ball bounce up off of it. And a small delay after the point as it appeared the Atlee setter Norris was shaken up, but he's stood back up now. He's back in the offense here, calling the shots.
And he'll set this one up for French.
And nothing to make you feel better than a set to your big guy, although he's dug up nicely by the Eagles.
But French returns with a block. Godwin gets it back over. Raiders reset to French, and that touch kill, right corner, nobody there in front of O'Shea.
He tried to go back to that zone 4 spot, a favorite of his. He just didn't get enough on it to get it over the net, so it falls into zone 2 on his side. Got to give the Eagles a 2-point lead with Hicks still serving. Still
French
can't get a good connection with French there.
No, not that time, and a beautiful job by Godwin. Shot 2, they just push it over here to the corner in front of us, and nobody's there.
A cheeky play by the Eagles setter Hicks. He goes to set the ball at the last second. He turns from that that 90-degree angle our setters are taught to be at, even with the net. And at the last second, he turns, faces down the line, sets the ball over the libera's head, over Ellenberger. It drops harmlessly for the Eagles, obviously not harmlessly for the Raiders, in the corner. 2017 Eagles. It matches their biggest lead earlier at 12-9. Forces the Raiders to call their second timeout. Of course, you only get 2, so they'll be without any timeouts to stop the action the rest of set 2. And even the fans who have been kind of slow arriving and kind of quiet and cautiously optimistic after that set 1 score.
Right.
Even the fans are starting to make some noise and get into it a bit.
They're starting to buy in a little now. If it were the stock market, you'd be, instead of down 20, you'd be down about 10 at this point. It's starting to rally.
A little bit of a rally here.
All right, Hicks out of the timeout with a 3-point lead. Field to the net, send it to French, pushes it over, saved by Carroll. Hicks up, Keogh pushes it to the corner. Field is there, right to the net. They send it over. Godwin is there. Keogh set again, and he hits it into the net. And the attack error gives Atlee's side out down to 2018.
And they got what they wanted. A lot of cheeky tipping, setting, weird, strange plays, and they got a ball that they finally, from the Atlee, they overpassed it. They got a beautiful set to Keogh. Just misses it into the net. 2018 Eagles is out of serve receive. They'll go to Carroll.
And Hicks, that was not his best set, as it kind of put Carroll out of position at a strange angle body-wise, and he just couldn't get it over the net.
Yeah, hard for a right-handed hitter on the right side when they're stacked in serve receive to make that play. A little bit better pass here. He'll go outside to Keogh. Dug by Dogbo into the net. And just like that, for the second time, credit to Coach Jones. Whatever he's saying to the Raiders in that timeout, it worked. Second straight 3-point run to tie it up.
That's right. French there on the defense. We're tied at 20. Levinson, Hicks runs to set it. Keogh, kill attempt, too strong. It'll be out of bounds wide in front of the Atlee bench, and it's a 4-0 Raider run to take a 21-20 lead.
They're looking to take that 2-0 set lead, which obviously in a best 3 out of 5 is a huge lead. But
nice jump serve. O'Shea is there. Set it for Dogbo, and the kill will get blocked out of bounds, and we're tied again at 21.
French reached high. He wanted to get all of that on the block. If he pushed over the net a little, might have had it, but he reached up high. Dogbo did a good job of swinging down on the lower part of French's left forearm to get that tool.
Carroll the serve. Field there. Norris will set it up. Kill attempt is good. It's going to go off a Godwin block attempt, and it's 22-21 Atlee.
Just off the high hands, high fingertips there. It'll give the Raiders a 22-21 lead with Wiggins still serving.
O'Shea to Hicks. And the shot is good by Hunderup, as it'll go off of an Atlee Raider and out of bounds.
Once again, anything you can do, we can do at least the same.
That's right.
I want to go high hands off French. And let me tell you, to go high hands off French, you've got to go pretty high, as he reached up almost to the top of the antenna on that block attempt.
22-all, Ellenberger to the net. They get it to French, and there's nothing but authority on that kill. He wasn't messing around. 23-22, and Jake's going to serve, trying to wrap up set 2. But, man, the Eagles will not go away quietly into this night. Here we go. Jump serve by French. Nice touch to it. Hicks sets it up. Hunderup, handled back middle. Set it for Field. Saved by O'Shea. Can somebody get it over? Hicks will. Set to the net. Field again. Good.
right in between the block of Keogh and Lyons. He'll hit that right to the middle of the court, back row zone 6. And that will give the Raiders a 2-point lead at 24-22. Might be, no, not quite their biggest lead of the set. They had that 6-3 lead early on.
Right.
But,
yeah, they've had a couple of 3-point leads, but right now it's double set point. Goes awkwardly off of a Godwin player. It's set. Hundred's kill attempt will go wide. And number 1, Atlee, will survive a game effort in set 2 and takes the 25-22 win and a 2-0 lead here now over Mills Godwin here on the special Monday edition of the high school volleyball game of the week. That was an intense set, but a great job there by the Raiders to finally, they matched point for point to 22 all, and then that's where you saw why they're number 1 and why they're unbeaten in 5-set matches this year. The final 3 points, they just took control.
And on the other side of the ball, you have Godwin, who now changes courts to be right in front of us. No panic, down 2-0. Obviously, most teams, if you're down 2-0 in a best 3 to 5, you might be feeling a little bit of panic at, oh my God, we have to win this. They're all must wins now. But no panic, as clearly, they've recovered from set 1 to be more competitive, to understand, hey, we've got our momentum back. We're passing the ball, we're hitting the ball, we're blocking the ball. And they'll look to just go at it here in set 3. And just like we talked about momentum, they found their groove again. They'll go back in it in set 3 and give the Raiders a little bit more to work for.
Being that 24 hours from now, Atlee's got to be on the road again at Patrick Henry in a match with huge implications for the postseason over across the river in Conference 12. You would think that right now the coaches in the back of their minds are thinking, let's win set 3 and get out of Dodge.
You would, and the other thing you'll see in other sports too. Maybe you get a lead and you rest some players and you give some other guys off the bench a chance. You don't see it as much in volleyball, especially in a match of this caliber, because it is so dependent on momentum. If you give Godwin set 3, no matter who's on the court, you give them set 3, they get a little momentum. They win 4, you go to 5, anything can happen.
Right.
So while you certainly want to stay fresh, you're right. As an Atlee fan, you want them to win 3-0 and get out of Dodge. It's not easy to play back-to-back road games. We comically last week went from our longest road trip of the season at Thomasdale on Wednesday to our shortest road trip of the season at Tucker on Thursday. But even that one it's a hard thing to do in high school with coursework, with social obligations, family dinners to try to get in there too.
You've still got to have them there by a certain time. You still got to get on the bus. You still got to make sure once the match is over that either they're coming back with you or the parents got them. Yada yada yada. Yeah, it's tough.
And you play as well as both of these teams are playing in set 2, and you're jumping as high and you're playing with that intensity. And you got to make sure you're doing the little things, stretching as we see a couple of Godwin players doing it right in front of you. But you got to make sure you're doing the little things, hydrating, stretching, getting enough rest, making sure you're taking care of yourself as we head into that competitive postseason.
That's exactly right. For those of you wondering, who is that incredibly smart man talking to Rob tonight? This is Douglas Freeman, head boys volleyball coach David Calvert, who joins us again on commentary. He was with us last month for Colonial Heights Midlothian, did such a great job. We were like, come on back. Come on back. You add credibility to us. And we appreciate you spending time with us this evening and lending your expertise. You have an eye and a view for this that obviously very few people do, because this is so much involved as to what you do on a regular basis.
Well, again, let me say thank you for having me, and to everybody listening out there too. I love doing this. One of the reasons I love doing this is I get to have all these conversations during the week with all the people who tune in and listen about, so what are you telling me about what you're talking us through? I love growing the game. It's one of the things that I've shamelessly stolen from John Kessel at USA Volleyball. He talks every day about growing the game. Love introducing new fans to the sport. If you are a high school student who has never seen a volleyball match in your life, it's nights like tonight where you can come on out and see 2 really good teams going at it. Non-stop action. It's the only ball sport, the only team sport where once the ball's put into the play, it can't stop. It's a fault or it's a point.
That's right.
And so lots of action. And if your team loses 1 point, you don't have to wait long to watch them try and score another. So to all of our new listeners, welcome. We're so glad you're joining us here on the RVA Sports Network as set 3 is underway. The Raiders serve it right out of the bat. Keogh takes the first swing for the Eagles. It's dug tight to the net, so Field will send a free ball. Dug by O'Shea, set to Dogbow. Norris will go back to their middle French, off Dogbow's hands, dug up by O'Shea, back to O'Connor, sends it cross court to Keogh, who swings from the outside. Dig by Ellenberger for the Raiders. That hit by O'Donnell catches Levinson in the back row. Connor saves it for the Eagles. Carroll sends it over. Dig by Field. Set by Norris. Swing by Wiggins for the kill, and the Raiders once again take that 1-0 set. Man, this play-by-play is a little bit problematic in these first points. The Raiders will once again take a 1-0 lead on a Matt Wiggins kill with assist to Michael Norris.
Although it was so funny the way that point unfolded, it just finally got to a point where this gulf opened for Wiggins, and you know, just as long as he got a good shot on it, it was going to go down, and it did. And then Atlee turns right around.
The Atlee setter, who's running back and forth across the court after all these balls in this long rally, goes back to the service line. Jump serves it right into the net. We're tied at 1.
Yep, and here's Carroll with the serve now for the Eagles. Dug by Field. They get it to French. O'Shea handles it. Dogbo sends it over, but
unfortunate. What a tremendous dig by the libero O'Shea to get the ball up off the ground. Dogbo sticks a hand out, pops it over the net, but as he turns to get into defensive position, his shoulder hits the net.
Godwin will try it again. Keogh, shot partially blocked, set to the net, this time behind. O'Donnell blocked by Dogbo, saved to the net. Keogh sets to Hicks, cross court. Hundrup puts too much on it, out of bounds. Point Atlee at 3-1.
Still no panic. Obviously, Atlee's led 3 or 4 to 1 to start every set, but Godwin's still playing very well in this set 3 here.
Wiggins with the serve. Hicks will set it behind him. Keogh, kill attempt is wide, out of bounds.
Good by my eye, but just out of bounds on that sideline in front of Coach Jones for the Raiders. It'll be 4-1 Raiders. Wiggins will serve again.
Carroll digs it out. Hicks cross court. Hundrup, that time
that one
is good.
That one he put right between the French block and the net. It kind of wedged itself in there as French explains to his coach what happened. And 2-4 Eagles as the freshman Lesniak will check in, the serving specialist, defensive specialist for the Eagles.
James Lesniak.
And he
It's not the first Lesniak I've dealt with here at Mills Godwin.
No, he is not.
Hi, Grace. Here we go in the middle. It goes to Godwin. And right at the net, mistake there, and Godwin takes full advantage of it to slam it home.
Overpass right to the middle Lions. Dogbo, the Eagles starting middle, has been getting most of the attention from me here, but Lions, no slouch in the middle either, gets that overpass, puts it home for the point.
No kill attempt there. Keogh awkwardly gets it open. They get it over. Ellenberger saves it. French to the floor. Wiggins gets it over. Hicks sets it behind him. Keogh kill. Woo, good.
What a swing by the right side. That is just you can't stop that.
No, that's just a work of art right there. Watching the lefty on the right side, and Ryan Keogh with great work there. 4-4 tie. Lesniak serves it up again. Field kill. Dug by Hicks. Sent over. Ellenberger has it. Set back to Field, far side. Lesniak is there. It's going to go off several parts of, no, it's not. It's going to go off several parts of the ceiling and then stay up there, and we'll replay that point.
We will. Now, obviously, those unfamiliar, Godwin has a dividing net for practice across the top of the ceiling. It is caught in the wires that support that net, but still over the Godwin side. That is considered a playable ball. We'll replay. If that had gone across the net and gotten stuck, we'd be talking about a point for the Raiders. But it's still 4-4. Next rally underway. Lesniak serves it and has a couple great digs early on.
Atlee saves a long kill attempt. Get it over to Field. Lesniak's there. Keogh.
Third dig of the rally.
Pushes it over. Hundrup. It's saved. Field this time. Good.
And Field finally cuts it inside of the Eagles block, just past the left hand of Lions, and Lesniak's unable to get that one. But 3 solid digs by the freshman in that rally kept the Eagles alive, gave them chance after chance after chance. And that's the kind of fight we talk about as coaches. That's the kind of hustle that it takes to win rallies like this, games like this, matches like this against a quality opponent like Atlee.
5-4, and French sends it into the net, and it's a service error, and Godwin will gladly take the point, and the serve tied at 5.
And those service errors rearing their ugly head again for the Raiders, as that's, I believe, 2 or 3 in these opening 5 points.
At the net, off the net, they're able to get it over. O'Shea digs it. Hicks will set. Hundrup this time, handled by Wiggins. Goes across the net and out of bounds.
A little out-of-system play, and Norris had to bump that one, and it got away from him a bit. It went off the lower part of his platform and really shot across the court over the net, out of bounds out the right sideline. Point Eagles, 6-5 lead, and
Keogh serves it up. French digs it out of bounds. Point Mills Godwin, 7-5.
Yeah, Norris goes to save that ball. In high school course, once the ball crosses the center line, whether it's over the net in the antenna, outside of the pole. Once the ball crosses that center line out of bounds, it is dead.
Keogh jumps serve again. Dug by Wiggins barely. Set it far side. Blocked, but point. Field will get the kill. It goes off of Lyons and Hicks and stays on the Godwin side.
Atlee serve still down 6-7, not a position they're used to early in the set like this.
Nice dig by Keogh right to the net. Battle for it. Stays on the Atlee side. Keogh is there. Will reset. Hicks, short one. And Lyons will kill it.
Beautiful swing right into the zone 1 corner. No Raiders in the vicinity.
And just from our angle, and I can't see that corner from where I'm sitting, I was a little concerned for Lyons' sake that might have gone a little long, but he was able to slam it home, keep it in bounds. 2-point Godwin lead. Wiggins set. Little push there with the left-hand Field. Hicks will set it for Keogh. Dug by French to the net. Field pushes it over, and good.
You know, that's just an awkward play. That's a smart play by Field right there. The dig by French went across the court towards zone 4 and not where the setter normally sets up. Norris went running and jumping after it. Field said, excuse me, I'll just take that. It was a perfect set. Takes it over on 2 for the kill while the Eagles are all waiting for it.
4 Eagles around that ball. Kill attempt Keogh.
And that is touched by 3 Raiders on the way out of bounds. No doubt about that.
It sure was.
Off the block, the front row defender and the back row defender, and that will give the Eagles back their 2-point lead at 9-7.
O'Shea, the junior libero to serve. 9-7 down 0-2. Soft serve, handled at the net. Kill attempt into the net by Ray. Point Mills Godwin at 10-7.
And the earliest they've had this 3-point lead, you may remember last set was 12-9. The first time the Raiders have not called timeout down 3, I'll note. Let's see if the Eagles can extend this streak.
O'Shea to serve it up again. Dug by Field, set it cross court. It's blocked. Ellenberger's there, gets it across the net. Set by Hicks behind him. Keogh, dug by French. Set middle, Field. Dug out by Levinson to the net.
Beautiful dig by Levinson.
Hicks to Carroll. Kill is too long. No good. Out of bounds. Side out Atlee down 10-8. 2-0. Atlee up 25-12, 25-22 in the first 2 sets here tonight at Mills Godwin High School.
But currently trailing by 2.
Ellenberger serves it. Keogh to Hicks. To Carroll near side. Saved by Wiggins. The set in the middle. Field sends it over, and good.
And the Raiders are starting to find their form now down 10-9. But one thing I've noticed is that the passing on the Raider side of the net has not been crisp, and they actually haven't had the attempts to go to their middles. French hit one into the net and tipped one that was easily dug up. So French here held without a kill through the first 19 points, a 10-9 Eagles lead. French held without a kill through the first 19 rallies of the game. A very impressive feat by the Eagles serving and attacking to keep the Raiders out of system as they are. We have a timeout on the floor called by Mills Godwin. They still lead by 1 at 10-9, but it will be the Raiders serve out of this timeout.
Quick reminder, tomorrow night, live at Hanover High School, final volleyball regular season game of the week at 7 Eastern time. Hanover hosting Lee Davis in a county versus county battle. We'll also be getting updates from that Atlee-Patrick Henry battle and keeping you posted on that. And a reminder also, speaking of Atlee-Patrick Henry, that is our football game of the week, Friday night, live from Ashland. 6-1 Patrick Henry back in the NBC 12 RVA Sports Network Big 12 High School Football Poll released earlier tonight on NBC 12 News at 6. They're ranked 10th at 6-1. Taking on an Atlee team coming off the big comeback win at home on homecoming over Henrico, trying to stay alive in 5A North. That's Friday night here on the network and on WHAN radio, as we'll have an ace out of the timeout for the Raiders to to make it a 10-10 tie.
And Keogh just couldn't quite handle that on the left side of the court. It floated a bit on him to the right. He shanks it out of the right sideline, 10-10. And while you're mentioning football rivalries, I have to give a shout-out, as you know, to Mike Henderson and the Rebels football team. We have a rivalry night of our own, maybe not as much in football as it has been in basketball, volleyball, and sports, but we host the Deep Run Wildcats for homecoming this Friday.
And that's going to be a good one, too, as well, as the Rebels look to stay undefeated. Keogh on the kill attempt. Ellenberger gets a piece of it. Over to Field in the middle. Levinson gets a left hand, and it goes awkwardly off one of the beams, and Hicks can't get to it. Point Atlee. That's another thing. You know, you don't have beams and ceilings in football.
You don't. Maybe down there in Jerry World with that scoreboard and punting, but that's about the only situation.
That is about it.
But, yeah, you're right. It's always, we talked about fans coming to their first games. So always plenty of action. Hey, you can play it off the ceiling as long as you haven't touched it 3 times.
That's exactly right. Carroll will send it over. Ellenberger is there. The set, no, going to send it over. Keogh punches it, keeps it alive. Carroll pushes it over. French is there. Right back to French. Blocked. Saved by the Raiders. Reset. Kill attempt. Keogh is there. Hicks cross court. Carroll. Ellenberger in the back. Sent over shot 2. Keogh's not phased. They'll send it back to Ryan. His shot into the net. The set a little high, a little long, and Ryan's jump missed time.
And the Raiders will win that point, but Coach Jones is not happy with the setter right now, nor is he dumped 2 balls during that rally. Setter dump, we refer to the setter, instead of setting that second ball to an attacker, taking it over the net on 2. He dumped 2 balls easily dug up by the Eagles, and Coach Jones is not happy, especially when you've got the dynamic duo here of French and Field on the court and Wiggins in the front row.
Dogbo with a nice block. Raiders will keep it alive. Can't get a kill ready. O'Shea sends it to Hicks. Carroll. Right to Ellenberger. Point continues. French. No problem. Point Atlee. 13-10.
He threaded the needle outside to the left hand of Carroll's block in the front row, but inside to the right of the libero O'Shea, and found just the last inch of court on that sideline to pound that ball home for a kill.
Atlee up 13-10. Serving in set 3, and miscommunication off the serve. Point Atlee. Timeout Godwin.
It is a 7-0 run for the Raiders.
Wow.
Who now lead 14-10 after trailing 10-7. So how ironic that they didn't call timeout down 3. We waited. Godwin called the timeout at 10-9. It's now 5 points later. They've called their second. They are unable to stop the game for the rest of set 3 here. And the Eagles will need to do a little bit better job passing, as they have not been in system enough to try to run their middle, Alex Dogbo, out of serve receive.
Hey, fans, we've had our share of 5-set thrillers here on the network, not only here live broadcasting online, but nights where we've been doing live Twitter coverage. And it wouldn't have surprised me if we had another one here tonight, but the Raiders are looking to make quick work and wrap this thing up at 3 and then turn their attention over to tomorrow night's showdown at Ashland, as they'll come out of the timeout with a 4-point lead, and Ellenberger serves it into the net.
And Coach DeFriscia just looks at herself. Now, why couldn't they have missed that serve at 10-9 the first time I did this? But nevertheless, 11-14 Eagles. They're back in rotation 1. They're strong serving rotation with the setter Hicks, as he'll serve a hard floater. Not handled too well by the Raiders.
Levinson with a nice job with the one hand to keep the play alive. Hicks will send it over. They're going to set it up for French. No, fake it to French. Blocked and inbounds. Ryan Keogh blocks the Matt Wiggins kill attempt, stays in bounds. Point Godwin 14-12, lead cut in half.
And the Godwin bench implores the guys on the court, let's get another one. Let's keep going.
They need the run here, down 0-2. Kill attempt in the middle, Field coming, blocked by Dogbo, but it stays on the Eagles' side. Good try, but not quite. 15-12.
Just to Dogbo's right as he tried to reach for it. It just went off low forearm, trickles along the tape, falls into zone 2.
15-12. Levinson with the dig. Hicks sets it up. Carroll right side. Saved by O'Donnell. Field right to Levinson. Goes to the net, and no one went for the ball. Dogbo was late. Falls at the net on the Godwin side. 16-12.
That'll be a kill for Field, but I think more impressive than that, that's an assist to a middle, Jake French. Middle's not normally known in volleyball for getting assists.
Don't get a lot of those. You're right. As Norris sends a serve into the antenna.
Into the outside of the antenna.
Yeah.
That was a bizarre look. I think it left his hand a little strangely there.
Yeah, that one a little unusual, and Godwin will take it. Down 16-13, Carroll to serve. They're running out of points here, fans. Nice dig by Ellenberger. Atlee sends it over. Hicks is there to dig. O'Shea will set. Keogh, the lefty, punches it. Field in the back was there. Kill attempt. O'Shea grabs it. Hicks will set behind him. Keogh again. That kill is good. And we're down 2. If you're a Godwin Eagle fan, Atlee says, whoa, the lead's back down to 2.
And that Keogh shot placed perfectly cross-court between all 3 defenders. Norris cheating into the middle of the court. Ellenberger, the libero, playing middle back, and Field playing left back.
Carroll to Field. They'll set it up for Jake French, and it'll get into the top of the net. He was up high, tried to slam it low, and first you got to clear the net.
Yeah, he wanted that one maybe a little. If he could take that swing back and hit it a little bit farther out in front of him, he would. But they'll try again here. Field's pass a little out of system, tipped over by O'Donnell, who's the right side, hitting on the outside out of serve receive. Godwin sends it back over. There's the French tip.
And they're going to call someone in the net for Godwin. I believe it's Hunderup.
It looks like, number 9, Hunderup called for the net violation. Of course, French tips to his all too familiar zone 4 spot. O'Shea is reading that and got the dig up, but for the Hunderup net violation, that'll give the point to the Raiders back at a 2-point lead, 17-15.
Back to a precarious 2-point lead here. Midway, latter half, third set, up 2-0. O'Shea to the net. Dogbo, blocked by Jake French.
Ooh.
Nothing fancy about that. Mono a mono, and French wins.
And he I don't think he forgot about set 2 when Dogbo did the same to him, and he didn't have any words for him, just turned around calmly and smiled to his teammates.
That's right, 18-15. They'll set this one up for Hunderup. Dug out to the net, though. Oh, my. Good play by Norris. Just a little much on it. Gets to the net. They can't get to it.
A little tight. Turns O'Donnell around and trying to turn around and put 2 hands on it. He thinks better of it. Puts 1 hand on it. Sends it into the net right behind his head. But 18-16. Lesniak checks in for the Eagles to serve.
They'll set it. And again, they use that play where they use French as the decoy, and Field comes in and takes care of business.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Amen, brother.
One play they have run all night long, and they run it to perfection. I think all 5 times they've run it, it's been a kill. And of course, you think, well, if they keep running that play to Field, who waits, well, shouldn't the blockers wait? The one time they waited, Ray got the kill earlier.
Kill attempt.
Tries to answer with a kill by Lions. He hits it into the net.
Yeah, kill attempt there. Lions, top of the net, stays on his side, and time's running out. It's 20-16. And, of course, the Eagles have already used both of their timeouts here in set 3. Carroll digs it. Hicks gets in position. Hunderup, kill off of French, and good.
Shanked off of French, who was the Raider server. And if you are an Eagle fan listening to us, the one glimmer of hope, it is 17-20. You're down 3. But the big man, Jake French, on the back row in right back position. So you've got 3 rotations without him on the front row if you can take advantage and put together a run.
Kill attempt is going to be long. O'Donnell with a little too much on it here, and it's down to 2 at 20-18.
And again, I mean, how big is it you're missing your best offensive weapon on the night, who's in the back row for the Raiders?
This is their possibly final opportunity. Set it to the net. Kill attempt. Saved briefly off of Hunderup, but Keogh can't dive to get it.
I think Andrew Ray might have heard me talking a little too much about French there. He says, now, wait a minute, just a minute, Coach. I think I have a little something, too.
Yes, don't forget about me, he says.
Atlee has such a pair of middles. In fact, they may be the best pair of middles in 5A, top to bottom, at Conference 11 and Conference 12. That serve, of course, goes out of bounds for the Raiders. And as we talked about in set 1, probably the only thing I see going forward for the Raiders that Coach Jones will keep working to fix as they look to peak will be that performance from the service line. The only good thing about the last 2 serves, deep out of bounds as opposed to in the net. At least you make your opponent make a decision there. That'll be a serve inbounds for the Eagles.
Nice block by Godwin on the kill attempt, and Atlee will just have to send it over. Keogh to Hicks, back to Keogh behind him. Ellenberger's there.
Playing a little 2-man game.
Atlee sets it up. O'Shea with a nice dig. Hicks cross court. Carroll pushes it. Can't get in between. French is there. Set. Kill attempt Field. Keogh punched by Hicks over O'Shea. Atlee gets a kill attempt here. Here it comes. Field. Levinson's there. Point rolls on. Keogh from the back middle. Handled.
Speed shot.
Oh, Field with a nice job. Field blocked and good. Oh, the block, the defense. Connor Hicks leading the way for Mills Godwin, cutting the Atlee lead to 1. What a great point.
And don't look now, but that 20-16 lead is now tenuous at just 1. 21-20 Raiders. The Eagles look to serve it here on a tremendous block from Lyons and Hicks in the front row.
It's set middle. It's blocked, punched to the net. Keogh will have it. Hicks will send it over on shot 2, dug out by the Raiders. Field on the kill, and it's good.
And heads up, as that Field kill will come right at us off the bounce.
Yes, he will. Right in that corner. It was perfectly positioned. Just
4
great
inches,
shot.
6 inches?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, beautiful shot. 22-20. Remember last set 22 all, and they won the last 3 to take it and go up 2. Carroll kill. It's good.
His best swing of the night. He's saving a little bit for when it matters most.
No doubt about it. They need it now as Lyons checks out. Dogbo returns for Mills Godwin, and O'Shea will serve it down 22-21, down to Love here in set 3. Field, set cross court, touch kill attempt fine. Hicks will set it up for Keogh. Kill. dug nicely by Field. The set.
And the offensive net violation, it looked to me, it was a little tight dig. Norris set the ball into the plane as he should have. He led his hitter. The middle there took a swing on it, followed through into that black netting, pulled it down. It's a tie game as O'Shea serves, handled by Wiggins out of the left back, set to Field out of the middle back, and Dogbo blocks it, but into his own net, is unable to play it. Carroll dives, can't get it either. It's now 23-22.
So the Raiders, 22 all last set, won the last 3 points. 22 all this set, they get the first. Can they wrap it up and end it in 3? Ellenberger, the libero, called up from JV, serves it up.
Cool under pressure.
Yeah, boy. To Hicks to Carroll. He's blocked by French. It goes over off the ricochet. French dug out beautifully by Keogh. Point continues. Try Jake again. The touch, and O'Shea is there. Hicks punches it over. Ellenberg sees it. Set, middle, Field, out.
Out of bounds for Field. I tell you, they went to French. They you know what the Atlee game plan is right now in a win or go home moment. They give the ball to French 3 times, 3 incredible digs by the Eagles. The first 2, of course, going immediately over bounds. The third one controlled. They win the rally on a Field hitting error out of bounds as now Hicks serves it. Field passes it a little tight, a little behind the setter Norris, and French hits it into the net. It is now, wait for it, a 24-23 Eagles lead in set 3 in a win or go home. Well, I guess you're already home, but in a win or lose moment here, the Eagles lead 24-23. That'll force the Raiders to call just their second timeout of the match.
Set point. They were once down 2016, correct?
They were down 2016. They've come all the way back. It's an 8-3 run for the Eagles, and they're doing it behind great defense again, like we talked about. Great digging when French took those 3 swings in a row in the last rally. Great blocking as they're starting to slow down some of those Raider attacks. And obviously, if you're just joining us and you're looking at the box score and you're going, wait, 25-12 in set 1 for the Raiders, 25-22 in set 2. I mean, they've led the whole way comfortably in set 3. No. Offense was clearly the story in set 1. Lots of kills, cleanly hitting the floor. No bodies hitting the floor for the Eagles. A little bit slow start, but boy, have they picked up the defense, blocking and digging to make set 2 as close as it was, and now here's set 3 even closer.
And here's where they need to close it out. They don't want to go to overtime. Here we go. The set for Field. Punched by Levinson. Going to go across the net, but out of bounds wide, and we're going to go overtime at 24 all. Got to win by 2.
The former Atlee Raider setter, Owen Ward, very fond of saying free points. Well, I tell you, we have extra points, and in the style of Ward, I will say extra points. 24-24.
That's right.
Raiders serving. Norris back to the line as the setter. That's passed by Levinson perfectly to Hicks. He'll go outside to Keogh, who takes some off of it and gets that one to drop. And the Raiders can't corral it. The ball actually comes back under the net. And once again, set point for the Eagles, 25-24.
Again, a little off-speed pitch, as it were, with a baseball analogy.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go, 25-24. It's set in the middle for French.
And French misses it
out
of bounds. And just like that, the Eagles take set 3, 26-24. They will close on a 10-4 run to take the set. They're still down 2-1. But in this age of parity, this season of parity, you got to think they've opened the door for a little bounce in their step as they switch sides. Now, Coach Jones will clearly talk it over with the Raiders. I think they'll come out strong in set 4, looking to close the deal, as you said. But in every set that matters here, we talked about a big showdown tomorrow night between the Raiders and the Patriots of Patrick Henry. They did not want this to go 4. They wanted to get out of here 3-0, and Godwin said, we're not having any of that.
Nope. We're going 4, fans. As Mills Godwin, we mentioned they were running out of points, and they were 5 points away from elimination. And they come back and take set number 3, 26-24. So a 10-4 run to end set 3 for the homestanding Eagles. And they live to fight another day. And again, we've seen this script several times this year where it looked like it was going to be a 3-set night. And then the team down to win set 3, and we end up in the midst of a marathon when we don't even know it until about mile 21.
And you know, this had the feel, if I can go all the way back to September 6th, that first game here, this game had the feel of a Freeman Godwin where, you know, Godwin led very comfortably for most of the set. We made a run at the end. We somehow eked out a 2-point win and extra points. And next thing you know, here we are into set 4. So we'll see how both teams respond. Obviously for the Raiders, it's about calming back down and getting reset and getting a good pass, getting the ball to your big hitters who've gotten you to this lead. For the Eagles, it's about more of the same, more blocking, more digging, understanding that they are in this match, they can compete. Set one is long forgotten about in that huddle, I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and nobody's even thinking about set number one on either huddle at this point.
Right. And it should be noted, too, Showcase, the Raiders' lone defeat of the season coming 3-0 at the hands of the Clover Hill Cavaliers in Showcase. But aside from those 3 sets, the Raiders have just lost, I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, just lost 3 sets since Showcase. 3 sets.
3 sets.
Playing dominant volleyball, winning 3-0 against a lot of quality teams,
yes.
us included. And so this is certainly a tremendous accomplishment for the Eagles to take a set off of such a talented team. But obviously they're not happy with just one. They want the next 2. Got to do it one at a time. Got to win set 4. Got to play 1 point at a time. But as they just demonstrated, they have what it takes to go toe-to-toe.
So here we go, friends. Set number 4. Raiders here on the back side of the gym with us, along with Douglas Freeman head boys volleyball coach David Calvert. Rob Witham along with you here live on the RVA Sports Network in a special Monday edition of the Game of the Week. Doubleheader tonight, tomorrow night. Lee Davis Hanover boys volleyball on our usual Tuesday night time slot of 7 o'clock Eastern time on our YouTube channel. And then back to football Friday night on WHAN Radio and here live on the RVA Sports Network and on the TuneIn Radio app on Radial. The serve goes to the Raiders. Kill attempt, handled. Get it over to Keogh. It's saved by O'Donnell. To the middle for Field, and it's good. Alex Field gets the first point from a position he's very comfortable with.
And you mentioned, just if I can go back, one last football reference before we get underway in set 4. You mentioned Radial, R-A-D-I-A-L-L.
That is correct.
For those of you, the fans out there that don't know, when I'm not on a volleyball court, I do work on an ambulance, and I missed the Freeman Atlee football game, the Raiders and the Rebels, a couple weeks back, and I tuned in on Radial. About near wrecked the ambulance on that ending. Spectacular catch by Pollard and then DeBrucke to win it. But fans, you've got to tune in. If you can't be at the game, the next best place to be is tuned in front of your radio.
So make sure either at WHAN or the link online on our websites, or if you got the TuneIn Radio app on your mobile, you can be at one game and listen to ours and have a 2-screen experience, as it were. Tied at 1, French with a kill attempt. It's handled, but Carroll sends it to the net, and Hicks isn't able to play it, and it's 2-1 Atlee.
And French will get credit for the kill on that swing, but it was dug up by Carroll tight into the net. He'll get credit for the kill, but it wasn't clean. It wasn't direct to the floor, and that'll give the Eagles some momentum here. Service ace for the Raiders makes it 3-1.
Wiggins.
It was 3-1 last game, so don't panic yet.
That's
Eagles
right.
fans.
Wiggins hits the top of the net. It falls right down on the Godwin side. Nothing you can do about that. Sends another soft one. That one's held up. Dogbo. O'Donnell's there to dig it out. Field kill attempt. Saved. Pushed over to the back.
There it is again.
Hit by Ellenberger. It may have gone out of bounds, but the young man tried to save it. It goes off his left hand, point Godwin.
We learned the hard way playing them, and Hicks, another player I've had the pleasure of working with at RVC, a lot of opponents of us had learned the hard way. He doesn't miss many out of that back corner. He got a kill earlier in set 2 on that. He gets it again here in set 4. It's 2-3. Eagles down 1.
Keogh with
spectacular save.
I don't know how Keogh did that.
And a trio of one-handed diving, punching up plays on the dig, the save by Keogh running off the court towards his coach, and then Lyons puts it up tight to the net. It hits the tape, dribbles over, and drops for the kill. 3-3 Eagles. Freshman Lesniak serves, and there's that combination play again, although it does not work. Lesniak with the big dig. Lyons sends it over.
Yeah, French with a partial block, and Field will send it. Carroll digs diving. Hicks sets it for Keogh. And it goes up top. Oh, now wait a minute. It hit one volleyball and sends another volleyball down?
I don't believe that. That can't. Did that really just happen?
I think that just happened.
I don't think any of the referees noticed that.
No, kill attempt Field, and it's good.
I think you're absolutely right.
Did.
It's still stuck there. Fans, this couldn't happen again if we tried. That volleyball just caromed into the ceiling, unbeknownst to just about everybody in here. And perhaps French's father here, filming to the right of us, might have caught that. That ball went up into the ceiling, hit another ball out of the ceiling, and the Raiders kept playing, and nobody noticed.
And they kept playing.
Right. So perhaps that would clearly be a fault, and perhaps we talked earlier about the volleyball gods might have intervened in that next point as the Raiders on that win serve it into the net. It is now 4-4 with Keogh back to serve the Eagles. I don't think I've ever seen that in 12 years of coaching, playing, commentating.
That's crazy.
What a play.
Field partially blocked, kept alive. Hicks will set it up. Hundrup this time, and it's blocked by Ray. No, it's not. It is blocked by Ray, but it's going to land on the Atlee side. Head official up top says point Godwin. From this angle, I thought maybe he got the block, but he didn't get it.
I was with you. I thought that was a Raiders point.
So 5-4 Eagles in set 4. Set, Ray, nice dig, but violation, double hit. Oh, man.
Hunter up plays that off his platform into his forehead, I think. He's whistled for the double contact there.
Well,
unconventional.
You can't do that.
I don't think he wanted to.
That was no. That's crazy. There's that other ball just sitting up there.
That's kind of a distraction now that I can't get out of my head.
I know. I can't get over it as the Raiders score a point. Nice serve there by Blake O'Donnell to retake the lead at 6-5.
We had the sun glare we couldn't stop talking about down at Midlothian.
Oh, yeah.
Now we have the volleyball at that same angle off to our right.
Jump serve, dug out nicely by Carroll. It'll be set behind. Keogh, kill attempt, too strong. Wide out of bounds in front of the bleachers. And it's a 2-point Atlee lead at 7-5. But again, very early here in set number 4, and the Eagles have seen this song and dance before. O'Donnell set it up, jump serve this time. Set to the net, kill attempt, and a point for Godwin.
Carroll delivered that ball beautifully to Hicks, just touches it up on the one ball to Lyons, who takes a great swing off the Atlee block of Ray. And I believe after the block, he kind of tomahawked down, forearm into the top of the tape. Obviously, you can't touch the net in high school volleyball.
Levinson with the serve. Doug Byfield. He'll get the kill attempt, and it's good. Off the fingertips of Connor Hicks, and side out to Atlee up 8-6. In set 4, up 2-1. If you're just joining us, 25-12, 25-22, and then the Eagles 26-24 in set 3. O'Shea to Hicks off the serve. Carroll kill attempt is good. Off the fingertips of Norris.
And again, off the block of Field, or off the dig attempt off Field in the back row, so off 2 Raiders. They've had a couple plays like that tonight, made possible by the fact that the Eagles, though down in the set and in the match, refuse to go quietly. They keep swinging as hard as they can, and they're connecting for some points. And, of course, I say swinging as hard as they can. O'Shea tries that very short touch serve. Didn't quite get to the net. Yeah. That'll be 9-7 Raider lead as their libero. Ellenberger will go back to serve.
Yeah, that time way too short. Let's see if the Raiders can take advantage, get on a run. Ellenberger pushes it over. Keogh is there. Hicks will set cross court. Carroll. Ellenberger to dig. Right to the net. French. Good. And Jake French right in middle.
He'll need that to get going. It's 10-7, a familiar score, just the other way around this go-around. It was Godwin who led 10-7 early before a huge run by the Raiders. Let's see if they can't turn the tables.
That was a 7-0 run. 14-10 by the time it was over. Hicks will set it. Dogbo with the kill. Found the open lane to the right. 10-8.
10-8, great point for the Eagles. Lost in that point was the quality of that serve, though. You know, you talked about Ellenberger being a JV call-up. The Eagles, of course, start one true freshman. Look, I mean, college true freshman. They're all true freshmen in high school. But Lesniak, who's had a great night at the service line as well. So the young guys getting it done at the service line, keeping some of those veterans like Dogbo, like French, from getting to work at the net there.
Norris chooses not to set, sends it over, finds the hole, gets the side out, and he'll serve up 11-8 for the Raiders. Levinson digs it. Hicks behind him. Carroll. Doug. Set. Wiggins. Point. Atlee. Simple as that.
Rolled over the block. Levinson unable to get that, but he was kind of standing up, and Coach DeFrisch is having a word with him about his defense there. He's kind of standing up in the middle back, not at all ready for that.
Soft serve is not going to hit the net a second time here in the last 6 or 7 points, one for each team. Norris tries to punch it and doesn't even get to the net. Service error to the Eagles, down 12-9.
And both coaches a little bit upset with their guys right now. You know, they're getting away from the game plan. What worked was going after people, serving aggressively, hitting aggressively. We've almost gotten a little too tip happy, and here we are to start this rally. Another tip, another roll, and right there is Keogh for the Eagles on the block. He's helped out a little bit by his middle Dogbo, but make no doubt about it, that's all Ryan Keogh. His right hand absolutely stuffing that O'Donnell kill attempt.
And it's 12-10. Atlee by 2. Kill attempt. French.
Out the right sideline. And who is that? James Carroll back there. Pardon me. James Carroll serves it up again for the Eagles, now trailing just by 1. And that ace by Carroll will tie it up. He aces one of Atlee's best passers in Alex Field.
That's not easy to do.
It is not. I think that might be the first time he's been aced tonight by a Godwin server. And it is all knotted up at 12-12.
You feel the momentum swinging. Raiders need a point. They go to French, and they'll get it.
And that is, if you want to talk about momentum swinging, the Eagles were starting to get a lot of it, and French just took it all back in one swing. A monstrous kill. He is a middle. That one came off the right side as the serve-receive pass took Norris towards that far right antenna, and French went up and clobbered that one.
Carroll saves it. Yeah, it's Hicks. Now Keogh sends it over. No real kill attempt that time. Cross court. Here's Field. Punches it. Hunderup is there. Set it up again for Ryan. Handled to the net. Off the net. Godwin punches it over. Atlee can keep it alive. Field finds the hole, and Alex gets the point.
He gets the point on about the 6th or 7th contact in a row between the two 10-foot lines. Lots of short tips, tight passes, tight digs, setter saves, sending it over. They emerge back on top here, 14-12. But Godwin keeps. They're not going away. They keep fighting back.
And again, going back to the game of momentum. With the momentum, sometimes it's short-term momentum, sometimes it's long-term momentum, and you get that third set win, and you survive in extra points, and you keep the game alive, and you're at home, and your familiar surroundings, and you're able to find some ways to keep things going. So even here at 14-12, no panic on the Godwin side whatsoever. No reason to be.
Certainly no. And actually, I would say surprisingly, but having played both of these programs and tremendous respect for both of these coaches as well, no panic and actually some poise, some calm. They're discussing in this time out. All right, what do we need to do to get back into this? What was working for us? Absolutely no panic. They're very, as coaches want this time of year, very even keeled, not too up, not too down. We've settled into the match and we're going. Here comes Wiggins back with the serve up 14-12. Carroll's pass to Hicks, who sets it up to Keogh. High hands off the block. That block by Field and French shut down the Eagles early on in set 1 and 2. And I think Keogh started to find some weaknesses in the block. That time he goes high hands for the tool and the kill. 13-14 Eagles, and the aforementioned freshman Lesniak back to serve.
Down by 1, 14-13. Field digs it in the middle to the net. Field blocked.
Once again.
Ryan Keogh. We're tied at 14.
And they will not go at this. This has all the makings of a thriller. Whether it stays here in game 4 or whether we go to 5, this has been an absolutely great played match since the end of the first set on.
No doubt about it. They set it for Field. His kill saved. Hicks, Carroll in the back, sends it over. They'll reset. Field again. Good.
Field hits that one down the line between zone 1 and 6. We call that sometimes the langle. It's not line, it's not angle, it's in between, it's a langle. But uncredited on that one, Lesniak with the dig of French. Another huge dig by the freshman.
Carroll digs it this time. Hunderup sends it over. Raiders set it for Ray. Dug by Carroll. Back to Ray. And he sends it home. Big kill there for Andrew. And it's 16-14 Atlee.
He will not be denied. It is once again a 2-point lead. Don't count the Eagles out. They are set up already in serve receive, ready to go. Keogh, O'Shea, Carroll across the back row.
French's serve hits the net, stays over on the Godwin side. Keogh kill attempt is good as it goes into the bleachers. The dig try there by Matt Wiggins, back middle. 16-15 Eagles get the serve down 1.
And one other note about Lesniak, he gets that dig. I think he has 6 now in the night, which is impressive given that all he does is check into the game to serve. So the only attempts he gets are when he's on that serving run. He had 3 in 1 rally.
Field attempt blocked. They'll go back to Alex, and that one goes in. Very nice. Lands in front of Keogh. And it's 17-15.
And Keogh is a little slow to get up.
He was a little slow to get up, but I think he's okay.
I think it may be more of his pride than anything on that one.
Exactly. Carroll handles the O'Donnell serve right to Hicks. Kill attempt, good. Hunderup in the middle.
I was about to say, it's normally Lyon's spot, and they're about the same height, and they both got that big head of brown hair on them, but that was number 9. That was Hunderup hitting out of the middle.
And Levinson to serve it up, down by 1. Field to Norris. Kill attempt, Ray. Perfect.
Another great pass in system for the Raiders. They go right back to their bread and butter, that middle attack. Doesn't matter whether it's Ray or now French. Oh, no, correction. French is still in the back row. Doesn't matter if it's Ray or French, though. They're both getting the job done.
Hicks will set off the serve to Carroll, and it's going to stay on the Godwin side. Point Atlee at 19-16.
Field still serves for the Raiders, has a poised look on his face as he sends that one. Keogh with the perfect pass to Hicks, sets it outside back to Carroll. He'll hit it cross court softly. Wiggins on the off blocker dig. There's Field out of the back row on the pipe. It's dug up by O'Shea. Return attack by, is that, that was Keogh off the right side out of the back row. He sends that one long corner to corner. That'll bring up timeout Eagles at 16-20. Where have we seen that score before?
We've been there before.
So don't count the Eagles out just yet. Of course, they were down 20-16 in set 3. They closed on a 10-4 run to win at 26-24 to force this set 4. If you're just joining us on the radio, Atlee with a dominant set 1 win, 25-12. Set 2 was a little closer, tied at 22 before the Raiders reeled off the last 3 to win at 25-22, go up 2-0. They led 20-16 in set 3 before that 10-4 run we just talked about. Godwin took set 3, 26-24. Here we are in set 4. Raiders lead 20-16. 5 more points, and they win tonight, and they can start to look to Patrick Henry tomorrow. Godwin says, not so fast. We've been here. We want to force this to set 5.
That's right. And we're about to see what's going to unfold here in set 4. Here on the RVA Sports Network, Field serves. Keogh to Hicks. Carroll blocked by Ray. Saved on the right hand by Hicks. Keogh punches it over. Ellenberger is there. Set by Norris. Blocked. Saved by Field on the dig. Sent over. Godwin will reset. Kill attempt. Good.
That one's Lions. I'm positive of that one.
Yes. He has been positively identified as Patrick Lyons, the sophomore. And it's 20-17 and a critical side out to the Eagles.
He does his best Jake French imitation on that swing. Hits that one about 13 feet deep, or almost straight down by volleyball standards. And, of course, his reward for that, he gets subbed out for O'Shea to serve for him as a libero.
Ellenberg serves it up, and it is another kill for Ray as a nice set in the middle. Ellenberger with the nice dig off the serve, and the Raiders get it right back at 21-17. Ellenberger to serve it with the 4-point lead. Can they close it out? Wrap it up here in 4. Mason sends it over. Keogh pushes it to Hicks. Cross court to Carroll. Dug out by Ellenberger. Off the net, French. Point continues. Dogbo mistimes his jump on the kill attempt, and a big mistake there by Mills Godwin. It's a 5-point Atlee lead.
Just when the Eagles think they had something, that Carroll swing I thought was going to be a kill, but for the French hand stuck out to keep it alive.
To keep it alive, indeed. Hicks will set it again for Carroll, and that one goes long. And the Raiders are 2 points away at 23-17. Ellenberger to serve, and the Raiders looking to stay unbeaten in 5-set matches in this regular season. Jump serve, handled by Levinson high. Hicks is able to get it to Carroll. Kill attempt, saved by Wiggins. Norris the set, Field middle. Saved, Levinson. Carroll punches it over. Raiders will get a good set here, and on second shot, they send it. Godwin saves it. Levinson back across. Field in the middle. His kill attempt saved. Hicks will push it to Keogh behind him. Punches it over. Field is there. Norris sets it. Field. Keogh to kill. It dances on the top of the net. French will set it. And Keogh will save the kill attempt. Dogbo with the set. Carroll. Ellenberger. And we play on. French blocked. Ellenberger punches it over. Eagles set it again. Dogbo. It's right back over to Godwin. Holy cow.
Longest
Hicks,
rally.
No doubt. And Jake French with the super block to end that marathon point, and it's match point.
Unbelievable rally to set up match point.
Crazy. And you look at the faces of the Raiders, and they're exhausted after that point. But they're a happy exhausted. It's 24-17.
I'm exhausted watching it as Ellenberger serves it up, and that's an ace for the match.
And that does it, friends. 25-17 in set 4, and the Atlee Raiders will win in 4 sets tonight and stay unbeaten in 5-set regular season play. Game effort by a Mills Godwin squad that, frankly, after set 1 could have scratched their heads and thought, we just aren't in this match. But they scratched, they clawed, they played much better in set 2. They get the win in set 3. And until the final 5 to 7 points here in set 4, they're in set 4 looking to go 5. Game effort by the Eagles.
Absolutely. Just a little too much Raider offense down the stretch. The same thing that got them that set 1 win as the front row came alive with Field, with French, with Ray. Just a tremendous effort by both teams. The Raiders winning it 3-1, 25-12, 25-22, 24-26, 25-17 in the 4th. The Raiders play the Patrick Henry Patriots tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'll give a plug to my buddy Evan Hughes up in Ashland. We'll be on the air live with Lee Davis at Hanover. Evan is going to broadcast Atlee Patrick Henry on his Patriot Talk Live network online tomorrow night. That's how we're going to keep up with that and keep you updated as you're listening to Lee Davis Hanover here on RVA Sports Network. And again, ostensibly that match, Atlee won the first match at Atlee a few weeks ago. If they win tomorrow night, they'll be the number 1 seed in Conference 12 when that tournament starts Halloween week. And if Patrick Henry can win, then it's up in the air who's going to be the 1, who's going to be the 2, as those 2 teams, of course, don't have anybody else in Conference 16 to play. So they move over to Conference 12 to join Prince George, Patoka, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
So, and for you and the Douglas Freeman Rebels, the number 3 team in our latest Super 6 Boys Volleyball Poll, you've got, 1 match this week, which is kind of a little unusual as you're heading down the stretch.
Very unusual, and we host TJ tomorrow night, Thomas Jefferson from the city of Richmond. Of course, TJ forfeited earlier last week to Tucker.
Yes, I noticed that.
So I'm still wondering, just like all of us in Rebel Nation, if we're going to have that match tomorrow, or if in fact we have for the second time this season 0 matches in a week. We've heard about bye weeks in football.
Right.
I've never in 12 years of coaching for Maggie Walker, this is my 8th at Freeman, never until now had 1 week with 0 matches like we did earlier in the season, let alone 2. But it is certainly a possibility for us this week if TJ forfeits. Nonetheless, we have TJ tomorrow night and then nothing on Thursday. We'll do a little score watching, a little scouting as we prep for the postseason. Next week, have a pair of good ones. We host both the Glen Allen Jaguars on Tuesday the 25th. Coach Kevin Hoy brings his squad into town. Of course, the only team to beat us since Showcase, and rightfully so. They played a great match that night in their house, and we're looking for a little revenge match there. So I know my guys will be ready. And then, of course, our senior night on Thursday the 27th. We've got 6 seniors and their accomplishments to celebrate. We'll host our rival, the Deep Run Wildcats. Always a good time when the 2 of us get together.
Oh, yeah.
And so a little shameless plug for our program. But Rebels, come on out. We'll need you, both of them. And it should be another 2 great matches, just like we had here tonight. All of these matches, Glen Allen, all these teams, Glen Allen, Deep Run, Freeman, Godwin, Atlee, all of us looking to make a statement this postseason in a very crowded Conference 11, Conference 12, 5A region playoff race.
No doubt about it. Cannot wait for the Conference 11 tournament. The quarterfinals Saturday were 3 meets 6 and 4 meets 5. Boys and girls going to be a quadruple header out at Lee Davis High School. That's Saturday the 29th. We're going to be there for some of it. We'll get to live tweet some of those matches during the day that Saturday before we have to head out for a personal commitment. I'm officiating a wedding that evening down in downtown Richmond, but we'll be there for that. And we'll also have, of course, extensive coverage of the semifinals and championships of the Conference 11 volleyball tournament on Twitter across the RVA Sports Net, but certainly on Henrico Sports and on Hanover Sports on Twitter. Dave Calvert, thank you so much for being with us once again. Been fun.
It's been a blast. Thanks again for having me. I mean, let's see. I mean, I hope to make a great postseason run, but if not, hey, let's try and do this one more time before 2016 comes through.
You never know. Maybe you and I can meet at the Siegel Center. If for some reason I'm not covering you at the Siegel Center, you never know.
I think I might find my way downtown to VCU for that.
We'll leave all options open, my friends.
I love it that way.
Congratulations to Atlee. They win tonight 3-1 in 4 sets, 4 very hard-fought sets, especially 2, 3, and 4. Mills Godwin will be a force in Conference 11. Atlee looking to clinch number 1 in Conference 12 with a win at Patrick Henry tomorrow night. Thanks so much for being with us, friends. This exclusive presentation of Game of the Week Boys Volleyball on the RVA Sports Network is solely intended for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any rebroadcast other use without the express written consent of HCS Media, LLC is strictly prohibited. And it feels so weird not having my music on as we wrap this up, but that just means I have to go to the store and buy batteries tomorrow. For Coach Calvert, Rob Witham saying thanks so much, everybody, for being with us. Once again, it's a 4-set win for number 1 Atlee, and they head to Patrick Henry tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're live at Hanover, and we'll have boys volleyball action, Lee Davis at Hanover, right here on RVASN, 7 o'clock Eastern time on our YouTube channel. Until then, thanks for being with us, and good night from Mills Godwin High School.